We gotta do it 3 times. The OG, Shaolin Master. I'm here with John Mims. Guess who he is? He's your favorite trainer's favorite trainer representing Louisiana. What's happening this evening, my friend?
What's going on, man? How you doing over there?
You're doing amazing, man. For those who don't know, and shout out to Joe, NWA Conde Corso. He's doing big things right now. I'm sure you already do. I first seen you on Joe's channel, so we gotta salute Joe. He putting in the work.
Certainly.
And Joe about to go. Joe, I seen it. Joe about to go. Joe about to take his shit on the road. So Joe ain't playing no more. So Joe about to shoot for the stars, and I'm so happy to see him doing this thing too, man. So yeah, so let's get right into it. For those who don't know, when I done that live, talking about backyard breeders and how certain breeders, I was referring to John because John is not just a trainer, y'all. He's one of the baddest Malinois breeders in the world. Don't get caught up on all the politics. Listen, we're gonna talk about that. So what's happening with you, John?
What's going on, man? I do appreciate you bringing me in, man, and kind of sharing a little wealth, a little knowledge or whatever, and maybe have some people open their eyes to some things maybe they wasn't knowledgeable about, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah. I'm not a know-all type of guy. There's certainly some things I don't know, but it ain't much. I don't, you know. And if I don't know, I'm not ashamed to say I don't know about it. I don't know a lot about hunting dogs. I don't know a lot about deer tracking dogs, stuff like that. But obedience, personal protection, police dogs, dope dogs, stuff like that, right down my alley, man. It's been like that for a long time. You know, I don't try to overtalk what I don't know about, you know.
So when did you take us back to when you was young? Are you from Louisiana?
From Louisiana. Yeah.
Why you don't got no accent? Why you don't got no accent? When you moved? You don't got no accent, bro.
I don't know, man. I don't know. You know, the weirdest thing, my wife used to tell me, she says, "Oh, you talking like them other people." You sound like no, I'm just talking. I don't know what makes them think that, you know. But I mean, hey, I don't know what happened to it, or if I lost it, or where it went. But you know, I'm just who I am. I do what I do, and let it fall where it's going to fall, you know. So I started training here in Louisiana. I went out to California for a while. Didn't really like the style out there of people. The training, the dog training industry in California is sold up, man. There's so many trainers out there, and they're off and running. And when I got out there, I was playing catch up from way behind. So I told my wife, no, I'm gonna go back home and pick up where I left off at home. And you know, I'm just more comfortable here now. More money to be made in California, certainly. More money to be made in Atlanta, certainly. Other places, as good as it is here in Louisiana, they call it the sportsman's paradise, but it's not for protection dogs or you know, everybody needs obedience pretty much. But the protection dog stuff and all of that stuff, most of the people that I deal with, they're out of state, different states. You know, most of the dogs that I sell, started dogs or whatever, police dogs or that are just about done, those dogs are sold out of state. Very few are sold here. The first few I sold were here, but it was smaller departments. I just learned when it came down to that, I enjoyed dealing with the smaller departments. There's less red tape. But the obedience stuff, and a lot of people get me confused with that part of, oh, you just deal with canine dogs, or you just deal with this. And people, the general public, don't understand that. And they don't understand the difference between what they consider a canine dog or a police dog or a German Shepherd. They just assume every German Shepherd is a canine dog, and that's all you deal with, you know. Well, that's certainly not it. I had to learn from the little bitty dogs on up, from the puppy dogs to the friendly dogs to the neighborhood dogs, and then you just stepped on up, and then everything falls under what I've accomplished and done and got to the level I've gotten to.
So when you were starting out, how did you go? Because what you're doing is normal to you, but it's not normal to us. That's why I say you're your favorite trainer's favorite trainer. How did you go from just not really knowing about dogs and then go to obedience? And how did you gradually get to the level where you can even do police work? And did you have a mentor? Can you break that down for us?
Okay, so when I learned, I was gifted. I never went to a school to train dogs. I can't even tell you a book I read to train dogs. When I started learning dog training, I saw some stuff on TV as a little bitty kid, 3, 4 years old, and that piqued my interest. And it stimulated what my gift was of training dogs. So as I got older, I started learning. My dad taught me some stuff. Didn't really take it serious, but then some guys in the neighborhood, they weren't trainers, but they were guys that can get dogs to do things. And instead of going play hide and seek and hopscotch and all this other stuff that kids at that age that we did, I was over there watching the guy with the dogs. And that's what stimulated me to learning more. A lady around the corner let me keep a dog at our house as I got a little older. And I would go around there and spend time training those dogs, the dogs that I would get. I would find stray dogs and just train them to do different things and trial and error. Talking to my dad, I taught you that a while back, son, figure it out. I would have to go sit down, think about it, where my mistakes was with the dog I had before this one, or 2 dogs ago, or what I saw that guy around the corner do with his dog. And then I would try to put that together. And eventually I worked my way to where I worked a system and I learned from different dogs. And I learned one of the key factors I learned, and I had a talk with a guy a couple of hours about this, a couple of hours ago about this. The same dog that stuff. So it took my attention away from dogs for a while, but my passion has always been dogs and animals in some form or fashion. Gotcha. So as I got older, knowing that and being open-minded enough and talking to people that didn't let me get too far off that course of where I was to learn and read dogs and judge the dog that's in front of you. I never bought dogs that were just because of a bloodline. I don't believe in that.
Right.
The dog in front of you is going to tell you everything you need to know if you know how to read that dog. Back in the day before the social media, I used to ask people in these message boards, how many world champs have produced world champs? And when I'm talking about Schützen dogs, Mondio dogs and ring dogs, how many of those dogs have produced world champs, have reproduced themselves? Slim to none. So saying that to say, if you get a dog off of a world champ and you do nothing with him but just put him in the backyard, I get a dog from Joe Blow down the street and I put work into that dog every day. And you see those dogs at 2 years old, which one is going to be better? The one I got from Joe Blow, because you did nothing. You're counting on the blood and the genetics to do the work for you instead of putting in the work yourself. And that's what I learned at an early age. And I realized the more work I put in, the better product I get. I'm not a shock collar freak. A lot of people know that they get.
So you against the e-collar? Come on. So you say you old school?
Listen
about that. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and speak on that. Come on, man.
I'm not totally against an e-collar.
Okay.
I know what the e-collar was invented for. It was made to correct problems. It wasn't made to motivate dogs like some people say now. It has migrated towards that. I'm not crazy enough not to believe that, okay? But the smartest dog, they say, is only as smart as a 3.5-year-old kid. How old are you, Dad? How old are you?
Me? It's a secret. It's a secret.
Okay. Well, you're old enough to. I would think. I'm 56.
Okay.
There's no way a 3.5-year-old is going to outsmart me at 56 years old. And I've been dealing with dogs about.
Now you got some 3-year-olds. They can outsmart you on video games and
on video games, but not just everyday stuff.
But they nice on the video.
Yeah, I think a 5-year-old beat me in a chess match one time. I cried for days. But anyway, I'm not totally against an e-collar, but when people base their program on an e-collar, and this is what I mean by base their program on it. When they first see the dog, they don't do a fair evaluation of the dog. They don't give the dog a chance to show them that they need an e-collar. They just slap it on them right away, out the door, without doing anything. And then they go to doing whatever they do with them. Some people don't call it, they call it stimming the dog, shocking the dog, whatever it is. It's an unnatural thing to a dog to put an e-collar on them, in my opinion. That's why it was made, because when the original e-collars came out, they were made to break a dog from digging in the trash, jumping fence, digging holes in your yard, unwanted behavior. So it's an unwanted, unnatural tool. Something around you or something you don't like, you're uncomfortable with. That e-collar is more uncomfortable with that, so you're going to tend to set your butt there and take that. You know, I would like anybody that has done PSA that has competed in those higher levels.
Yeah.
Many of those dogs have passed the 2 and the 3s that haven't used an e-collar.
Yeah, so the e-collar can, like you said, it started off as one thing, but it's used in a different way. So let me ask you this. On our channel, we do K9 battles, right? So let me ask you this, based on you're OG in the game, if you was to battle a new school trainer that had say on recall, high-end dogs, Malinois on recall, you saying you can do just as good or better without the e-collar than a person that's new school with an e-collar?
Here's the thing where the battle stuff come in. I'm too old to battle. I don't battle. My reputation is what it is by now. I don't have anything to prove to these people.
I agree.
As far as that battle stuff goes. But here's the question. I'm just an average, I'm training an average person. Just somebody calls want their dog trained for obedience. Mm-hmm. Do they need a dog recalling 100 miles an hour? No, they don't.
They need recall, like, for instance, you know, these high-end dogs, they see a cat, they see something high-end. So,
what beats that? You know what beats that? Here's how you fix that.
Yeah.
If I know if the dogs are reactive to cats, the dog shows response to cats, and I see the cat before the dog sees the cat, what has priority over everything that dog learned and has learned up until that point? Obedience. So what I do is I tell the dog to sit. Now that cat walks in front of him, and this is more important than that. And when you get that into a dog's head, obedience overrules everything. Sit down, stay, recall overrules everything. You hear a lot of trainers say, oh, protection is just a form of obedience. Well, why can't that take the place when the dog sees something that he wants? I walk my dogs out down the sidewalk in front of my house. I go around the corner to a field behind my house. There's people walking up and down the street and everything. My dogs take 2 or 3 steps there and they're naked as a jay, there's nothing on, a flat collar at most. And they take 2 or 3 steps and I tell him, wait a minute. And he'll stop. Or if I say, come here, he doesn't have to come to me 100 miles an hour. Just stop what you're doing and come here, because this recall is more important than what you're doing over there. Now, when you get into these high stressed or higher strung situations or priorities, that's why it's called training. As a trainer, I'm gonna make sure that the obedience overrules anything in my control situation, because I'm gonna set the dog up for success, not to fail. If you just take a dog out and you're counting on your recall without an e-collar and something across the street the dog sees or whatever, and he takes off and you can't recall him, then you didn't work on it enough before the e-collar came into your program.
Okay.
That's the way I look at it. So I don't need to argue with people or talk with people. If we talk 2 or 3 minutes and I don't see it their way, they don't see it my way, hey, respectfully, we'll agree to disagree and we move on.
I respect you too. I respect you because you the Shaolin master. So something that's normal to you, check this out. Something that's normal to you is not normal
it's
for
not normal to other people. And that don't make it wrong or right. It makes what they're doing for them, it fits them and their skill set. What's most reliable, I know for a fact, is when I tell him to sit here, he doesn't move. Because before I take him out to test him in a different environment or open environment as compared to a controlled environment, that's the difference. Has the guy up in Canada came on. I don't know if he had an issue with what I was saying about the e-collar, some of the system. Some other people have came and they came behind me starting this stuff up about the e-collar. I'm not the only one that feels like this about an e-collar. I know one thing for sure, and I'll die believing this. I think I may have said this scenario on Joe's show. I had a dog I was going to sell to a guy that played ball for San Francisco 49ers.
Okay.
This dog never had an e-collar on. It was only trained with a flat collar and repetition, and consistency. The dog was on point. Female German Shepherd. Well, he chose to buy a dog from the big name guy out in LA at the time. I mean, in San Francisco, e-collar trainer. Now, your heart signal works off an electrical pulse. As small as it is, half a volt, whatever they say it is, it's an electrical signal.
Facts.
When you introduce another electrical signal to it that overrides that heart signal, eventually it throws the dog off, in my opinion. And for a long time, I thought about this, and I thought this. So, I don't know, the guy, he bought the dog from that guy. About 5-6 months later, I think the dog died. And I asked him, I said, that dog died, did he have the e-collar on? Yeah. I said, I guarantee you that's what did it. It'll throw off a dog's rhythm. It also throws off a dog's chemistry in a dog's head. That's why, have you ever seen some of these e-collar dog trainers where when they hit the dog is constantly whining when they zap them with that e-collar? Yeah. They're constantly whining because it's uncomfortable, but they don't like it. Some of those dogs actually work in reverse. When you put an e-collar on them, that motivation towards the decoy or whatever they're doing, now it turns towards the handler, because some dogs are smart enough to understand you're the problem. You're the only constant in this situation. When I get this e-collar on me, I get that sting. I've seen dogs, when the sting comes, they look in the owner's hand because they're looking to see if he got that transmitter. But in mine, told me this scenario a couple of days ago. He's 30 yards down the field. He's got a guy standing next to his dog. He wants to recall the dog, but he tells the guy to keep that transmitter in his pocket. Don't let the dog see it. Because if the dog sees it, the dog's going to associate him with the electrical shock and he's going to bite him. So the dog when he called him to recall, the dog looked at him, looked at this guy to see if he had the thing in his hand. When he couldn't find it, he went ahead and recalled. But he was looking for that because he's going to bite whoever has that thing in his hand. Some dogs are smart enough for that. I've seen the collar work how it was meant to be or how it has progressed to work. And I've seen it do just the opposite, where it makes the dog so amped up and so wired up, you can't trust them. They're not stable. It unstabilizes a lot of dogs. Now, some people say, oh, they didn't know how to work it. I don't care what it is. It makes the dog unstable. And a lot of these dogs, you have to put them down. You can't give them to nobody because you can't trust them around other people. You know, I went to a PSA trial, I guess, 5-6 months ago in Orange, Texas. If they had 16 dogs walk up to the staging area, 16 dogs had e-collars on.
Wow.
And all of them, when they got out the car, I was taught this. When I go somewhere and it's dealing with dogs, I watch everything and everybody with their dog because I can learn something from each and every one of them, whether it's good or bad. I'm going to learn something. So every person that dog, when the first guy went out, the next guy getting his dog to go to the stage, I'm watching him from the time he gets out his car till he gets on the field. Wow. And every dog got out of the car, they amped up, they doing this, they looking, who do you want me to get? They're not clear in the head. So out of 16 dogs, I think 5 or 6 of them passed that first day, that Saturday there. Some of them just blew the commands. They kept going when they did the recall.
Wow.
Some bit when they wasn't supposed to bite. Now, is that a training issue? Of course it is. I would blame it on the dog being spent so tight, wound up so tight. People think the dog has to be at 100 miles an hour all the time when it's doing that stuff. It doesn't have to be. My dogs that I train, I don't want you to know that that dog is trained until it's too late for you.
That's that OG stuff right there. Shout out to Master John Mims, your favorite trainer. Make sure y'all smash the thumbs up. We about to get into it because John Mims, before it was popular on the internet, he was dealing with Belgian Malinois. Can you take us back to that? Like, how did you even know about Belgian Malinois? When did you start?
It's been 30 years I've been breeding Malinois.
Wow.
Years with males, 24 with Dutch Shepherds. So I met a guy that had a pair of Malinois, well, not a pair, he had 5, 6 of them. And he was just out of the military. He was a kennel master in the Marines. He was a kennel master. He got out of the Marines and re-enlisted into the Air Force. He was a kennel master in the Air Force. And I went out to his place. He lived out in the middle of nowhere. I said, what the hell are those little bitty skinny ass dogs? He said, it's a Belgian Malinois. I said, what? And I was like most people. I couldn't pronounce it right. I was saying Malinois, noise, you know. And he said, no, Belgian Malinois. And we got the dogs out and we worked them. And I was stuck on them ever since. And I said, man, I'm going to get me some of those. He said, take those 2 with you. And he gave me 2 of them. And me and that guy, we trained probably 2 years together. And he says, man, I'll be honest with you. I said, okay, let's go. He says, I only saw 2 other black guys disinterested in dogs, and they were in the military. And he says, you got them beat. I said, why is that? He said, because you come out here and you make me work. And I used to get off work and drive out an hour or so out to his place to train.
Wow. And
I would make him get up and we train. Now, all the military background he had, all the training that he had before that, because he was a dog guy through and through. I taught him some stuff that he didn't know about dogs.
Wow.
But that leads me into this. We train dogs by geographical eras where we live and how we grew up. I don't know if you ever heard anybody say that before. But if somebody grew up in the suburbs, they're not going to know what's going on in the ghetto and in the projects. So I grew up in the ghetto. So what I did to dogs as a young man and stuff, these people in the suburbs will never have any idea. So when they see some stuff that older guys do or people that grew up a little different, they think it's not right. They think it's not going to work. Stuff like that, or it's done wrong, per se.
Right.
Not done wrong. That fits this situation and this type lifestyle. So when we train dogs for protection dogs or police dogs, this is why I like police dogs. I never got into sport. I went and I'll go and watch a dog competition anywhere. Me and my wife, we drove a lot of places to support people that I know that do sport work. But police dogs will experience stuff on the street a sport dog will never experience. It doesn't happen. Those police dogs they run up against crackheads, heads, people doing drunk, alcoholics, people trying to get away from beating their wife or the wife beating the husband. They run across everything under the sun with a police dog. To get a dog to a good dog. Now, I'm not talking, because there'll be somebody that say, oh, most police dogs want nothing. That's why they don't bite. I'm not talking about those dogs. You're right. Those dogs exist because tree huggers come along and say, oh, we don't need dogs that tough. Oh, we don't need dogs that do that and blah, blah. And that's why a lot of the dogs nowadays, they're on that slippery slide going down. Malinois back in the day, a good Malinois was a hard keep.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard to keep those type dogs because they paced all the time. They moved all the time. They chewed up shit all the time. They just were a different dog with a different tick to him. You know, but then you get people, these tree huggers, oh, why does the dog have to be that aggressive? Let me water it down a little bit. Why does this torso have to be like this? Let me water it down a little bit. And that's why you get nowadays what you get. And then you get the trainers that come along and they say, oh, well, I'm going to be a force-free trainer because I can't do what you do, Mr. Mims, or I can't do what somebody else do. So I'm going to learn how, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to tag this name on it or this style of training, and I'm going to call it force-free. And that's why a lot of this stuff come up. It happens in everything in life. That stuff happens. More power to those people that do that. But that's why I put a thing up the other day called a butt hurt report. If people don't like what I say, if they don't buy into it, if they can't see it, if they sit down and they can't think about it and understand where I'm coming from with this stuff, then so be it. When they see my videos pop up, my tips of the day, they can just scroll past it. Because 9 times out of 10 is going to be something they don't like. Or it's something that's subject to cost them money because I keep talking about these e-collars and the way some of these people train or some of the stuff that I can see. When you talk about trainers that have been training dogs for 25, 30, 35, 40 years, there are things that we can see that we know that it's going to be a problem somewhere down the line in that dogs. If you're training a personal protection dog, and this is my opinion, if you're training a personal protection dog and you don't do some kind of scent work, I think you're doing a disservice to that dog.
I'll get into that because this guy, like I say, he the Shaolin master, your favorite trainer's favorite trainer. The scent work is amazing. Like this guy, and he done it on his own. That goes to show you when you're passionate about something, even no matter what neighborhood you're from, you can still become great at it. So you spoke on police dogs, right? As a breeder, with your knowledge of reading dogs, how can you pick out from the litter of, say, 10 puppies that, okay, this dog right here be more for sport, this dog here be more for personal protection, this dog be here for police? Or do you think it's a difference between them? Or what would you say on that one?
Okay, so here's where a lot of people make the mix up at, and they don't understand what they're looking at. And they jump to deem a dog good for this or that without giving the dog a chance. So I'll take those little kiddie swimming pools, like the little kitties that were a foot deep, foot and a half deep, or whatever, foot deep. And I'll turn that kiddie pool over and I'll have the dog chasing the rock jug. And I'll drop that kiddie swimming pool over their head while they're under there. Some dogs going to come out because they're not used and they're not solid enough at that age that I do it. So when that thing comes over their head, they'll come from under that kiddie pool. But you'll have 1 or 2 of them that'll stay under that kiddie pool biting on that jug. And when I pick that thing up, he's still on the jug and he's still fighting. Those, if it's 2 out of 10, those 2 I'll pick out and I'll mark them. I'll take one out, get some fingernail polish, and I'll put a mark on them. Especially if the dogs look kind of close enough, where it's kind of, where I know that's him and I know that's him.
Right.
Not only now that day they did that, but I'm not going to base my decision on them 2 just from that one day or that one test. Because now I'll do it tomorrow and I'll do the same thing. And now those 2 are still under there, but then now I got 2 more. So what happens with those 2 is the competition drives those 2. I want to do what they doing. Monkey see, monkey do. But that doesn't mean he has the nerves. He may start under there, but after a second or 2, he said, oh, this is too much. I'm out of here. So now I got 3 out of 10 that stand under there. If I do it, those 3 are staying there. That's a good start that a dog has good nerves. Now, while the dog's eating, I'll crank my lawnmower up and I'll put it way on the other side of the yard. And they listening to it, but it's way over there. It's not bothering them. So after a week of that, I bring it a little closer. After a week of that, I bring it a little closer. After that, I'll set it right on the side of the lawnmower. Of course, I got the blade, got it sitting down on the ground. So some of the tree huggers will say, oh, your dog cut his feet on the blade. Get your ass out of here. Put the wheels all the way down and now I put the food on side of the lawnmower. Now, those 3 puppies that I looked at that would stay under that swimming pool, they got a problem with going eat on side of that lawnmower. So I may have picked those 3 and say, oh yeah, this is good for, I'm gonna stick with him. But he doesn't have the nerve to come over here. It very seldom happens, but it will happen. So now I gotta reassess those 3 that I picked out from the swimming pool test, because now they're a little afraid of this thing here. The next day I do it, those 3 are over here doing it, and these 3 are doing it too. But the first 3 were scared to go into the pool. So it's a mix and match system and testing that you have to do. What kind of sounds are they used to? You get dogs, you have puppies and they're 2 days old. I got old radio I bought from the dollar store. I take it out there and I hook it up and I leave that radio on from the time they're 2 weeks old to the time they get out of here. So they listening to people talking, they listening to music, everything. They're getting used to that from 2 days old. They're hearing that at 2 days. People say their eyes are closed, they can't hear. Bullshit. You go out there and pop a firecracker and watch that dog move at 2 days old. You jump. So those things, all that gets wrapped into when you're evaluating these puppies, when you're looking at these puppies. I do scent work with my puppies when they're 3 weeks old. I want to see how bad you want to get in this cardboard box to get what's in that box. Now, those 3 puppies that I initially picked out, they may not have the drive to get in there to that box, to get to that odor that's in the box. So what does that tell me? You may just be a single purpose, not dual purpose. Single purpose means he's just a bite dog or a scent dog or either or. But all those little tests tell you things. And some of the stuff I don't want to say, but I have to say, because some of these guys that I've seen lately, I've been on TikTok, they invite me in their groups and they want me to explain stuff to them. And I try to explain it to them and they, nigga, this don't work. Hey man, listen, I'm out of here. I'll get off of it. I don't want to talk to those guys no more, because if they talk like that when that happens, then I know they're not going to listen to anything else I try to tell them or teach them or help them with,
I appreciate it, man. This is like valuable information that you passing it on, and I really superly appreciate it, because like I say, man, people don't realize that. Can you talk about that? Like, as being a dog, what do you think is more challenging, being a dog breeder or a trainer?
A dog breeder or a trainer?
Yeah, a successful dog breeder or a successful trainer.
I think it's all a crapshoot, because you're never going to satisfy all your people all the time.
Right.
I not only breed, I train. So that's a rare combination. And my goal was, when I started doing this, was to do it and do it at a certain level. Of course, I'm not at some of the levels, some of these people with hundreds of thousands of dollars to throw behind their program. What you see here is what you get. I've been like that since I've been doing this thing. I've had some of the other, I used to exchange words with a guy named Ted Summer Sickler, trained out of Oklahoma. And eventually he just had to say, Mims, he said, I'll give you this. You don't mind showing everything that's going on, you're going to show it. Said, I'm not here to blow smoke up people's ass. I'm not here to tell people and feed them a fantasy. If they don't want the truth, don't call me. Don't come here. Don't contact me, because I'll give you the truth. Being a trainer takes a lot of practice. It takes a lot of networking. It takes a lot of talking to people and making friends with people. So if you ever run into an issue, you can call somebody and talk to them. And hey, man, what do you think about this? Hey, man, what do you think about this? Even to this day, as much experience as I have and long as I've been doing it, I call Mark Lehman and I ask him, say, Mark, what do you think about that? And Mark is up in Atlanta somewhere close by you.
Okay.
Older white gentleman, he had a sport, and I met him 27, 28 years ago. And to this day, I called him and we chop up, issues that we see or stuff that people pop up and say, or hey, Mark, I'm thinking about this with this type dog, this, and we'll talk about it. And most of the time, we're in the same ballpark as far as our ideas. Now that comes from our age and our experience that you find that we kind of think are similar alike. You find some of these younger cats, they think similar because that's their age group and their generation. But with dog talk, dogs are so it's a weird feel because dogs aren't like cats. Dogs aren't like monkeys. Dogs aren't like any other animal. Dogs were bred to be by man's side and work with man. So therefore we treat them different. We look at things different when it comes to dogs. Me and another guy in Tennessee, we can talk about the same dog, but have different ideas about it. It could be the same breed, but we have, and that could come from my experiences with that breed and their experiences with that breed. The type of dogs they're used to dealing with, the type of dogs that I'm used to dealing with.
Okay.
And you can get difference of opinions. Being a trainer is knowing where that cross section crosses at. When you're dealing with different dogs, because different lines of dogs, as you know, produce different dogs. Different dogs think differently. It could be the same breed, a pit bull. Just because it's a pit bull, pit bulls think like this, not all of them. Because not all of us trainers think the same. So how can we expect all the dogs to think the same? You know?
Now, with your expertise on Belgian Malinois, is there certain things about Belgian Malinois that the general public may not know? Because we know they do nose work, we know they do police work. I'm sure you've seen some experience like, wow, people may not know Belgian Malinois can do this. Can you get
they can do a lot of things. They to me, that I won't say they're the most versatile because I think Australian Shepherd is a hellacious dog as far as what it can do, how they work cattle, stuff like that. But when you're talking working dogs, like in the field of protection, a Malinois can do so much, so many things. And when you get into the scent world, they're unmatchable in their work. A Dutch Shepherd and a Malinois.
Better than German Shepherds? Better nose than German Shepherds?
Look, I got put out of a lady's yard one time. This was about 25 years ago. I told that lady, she imported a Schutzen 3 Shepherd, nice, solid, black, big dog. I said, listen, an average Malinois will outwork the best German Shepherd any day. Boy, she got pissed off. Get out of my yard. You don't know what you're talking about. And she was pissed. And her husband says, I think you can go now.
So is it that much better? Like, so saying for Malinois was Michael Jordan, right?
Mm-hmm.
German Shepherd be like Charles Barkley or Reggie Miller. Is it that much of a blowout? Like, is it that much of a difference, or is it close? Or is it be like German Shepherds? It be like LeBron, or is it way much of a difference?
If we're talking about the Malinois of today, no. The Malinois of 25 years ago, yeah. There's no, in my opinion, there's no comparison because I've had them. Wow. I've had some shepherds that were bred real good, and I've seen some hellacious shepherds. As far as protection and patrol work, you wouldn't want to run across them on your best day and their worst day.
Wow.
Compared to two, here's the difference. One of the differences, like a lot of cops would tell me, the best shepherd may lay back in his police car and lay down his whole shift. He won't get up, and if the siren comes on, most of them will get up and they know that it's ready to go. Most Malinois will go from window to window the whole shift. If 8 hours, they're doing this 8 hours, window to window. And that's the difference when you're talking. And some guys can't handle a dog that won't calm down like that.
Right, makes sense.
And they're not used to that. Our department here, I think they got six dogs. I remember years ago, the guy I was telling you earlier, who I learned a lot from, he comments on my post now, and he's the chief of the next town up. But he said, man, those guys at these departments that come and train, they want them Malinois. Said, but every time they come to training, every week they got a new bandage on them. I said, what do you mean? Because they're trying to train that Malinois like they train that shepherd, and that Malinois ain't going to take no unfair corrections. Or you're not going to take the stuff that these guys are doing. So they turn around, they bite them.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So they got little handler aggressive.
It's not handler aggression. It's that the dog won't take unfair corrections. Or the dog won't, the old, what they say, yank and crank.
Yeah.
Some of those dogs, they're not going to take that. And as a trainer, you need to know how to train a dog to do that with that kind of temperament, as opposed to a shepherd. A shepherd may let you crank and yank if he's not doing that, let you yank the shit out of him, and he's okay. But a Malinois that from back then, a lot of those dogs not going to take that. So you may have to go, a shepherd, come here, right? A Mal back in the day, come here. He's going to respond to that. Come here.
Right.
I go, come here. Now I'm fighting him off. Because he's just that sharp and he's that ready to work. He's not going to accept that kind of punishment and that kind of unfair stuff, So, when I hear a lot of these guys nowadays talk about tough dogs, strong dogs, you guys don't know what they don't really have an idea of those dogs from back in the day. That's the dogs that I learned on. I'll give you an example. I got a dog that came back from the military. Nobody worked him for 1 year out at Lackland. They fed him through the fence. They slid his food under the fence, and they sprayed the pen out. And one of the ways that they punish those dogs, they spray water down their throat, and they just chomping at the water. So I got the dog, it went here and then I got him.
Yeah.
I know, because I've been in them so long, I know how to work dogs like that. So the issue, and I used to tell guys this all the time. If I take a Kong, if this dog had a Kong and had it in his mouth, you couldn't take it from him. And what happened, the reason I got him, the guy that had him tried to take it from him. Well, this dog looked at him, looked back at the ground, looked at him, and that look when they look kind of out the corner of their eye like this, he said, I'm about to bite your ass. And after the second time, I said, here it comes. He was tall. This Malinois was tall and long. Did 2 tours over in Baghdad, Iraq, or wherever the hell he was. Bad motor scooter, man. Badass dog. But he dropped the ball, bit the guy, and grabbed the ball before it hit the floor.
Wow.
He didn't even have time to react to that. So they got rid of him, got in touch with me. I went and picked the dog up. I get him home. I take him out the next day. I throw the Kong. He brings it back to me. I put my hand under his mouth, and I tell him to out. And he drops it in my hand. I throw it. He goes and get it, and he brings it back. And I'm just testing him to see where he's at. I'm figuring him out. I go to pull a string, and I got that look like you about to get it too. When I went to pull it, that little low growl, and that look like this, that means I'm about to put your ass in the world of hurt.
Right.
So I let the string go. I put my hand under his mouth, and I told him to los, and he let it go in my hand. Wow. So that alone told me you can't take nothing from this dog. But if you're asking for it, he'll give it to you.
Wow. That's a gift right there, bro. You gifted.
How many people would have gotten bit, and that did get bit, because 7 of them in the military at Lackland got bit before, and they said, we ain't fooling with him. So they had to retire him. But these so-called trainers nowadays and these guys that talk tough stuff, and what they'll do a dog, I say, hey, I had one. I would love for you to come and get him and let him teach you a lesson of trying to bully him, or I'm gonna show you type attitude. I'm gonna fix this dog type attitude. Ain't gonna happen with some dogs. But that's dogs of yesteryear, But knowing the difference and how to work that dog is what I find a lot of guys and young guys these days don't know, and they don't want to learn it, man. They don't want to call and network with people and talk to people and see things and understand things and learn things. One thing that I get now is I had a house fire about 27 years ago.
Wow. Okay.
This is how strange stuff was. where I kept all my videos, and this is VHS tapes and stuff like that back then. The CD, DVDs, or whatever thing was just kind of coming into existence. But the air conditioning unit caught a fire right next to the thing where I kept all my videos. So I lost all that video of years of my work and stuff that I had, videos I paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars and all my stuff. So I had video of, and a lot of guys will show this. So I can only show them what I've done in the last 20 years. But I got stuff from way back then, 30 years ago. Some of these guys training wise never even came close to thinking about doing. And you know, after a while, you can only do so much, but it's the way you do it or how you get to that point to get the dog to do it. You know, that's the difference. You know, we used to train dogs back in the day. We used to train dogs to bite people where we told them to bite. Mm-hmm. If you gave them your arm, we would tell them, push it. We would tell them to let that arm go and get the other one.
Wow.
And the dog would let go and he'd get the other one. Then we'd tell him, okay, let go and bite him on the leg. And we'll tell him leg, arm, other arm. Wow. And we tell them that we had video, and some people say, oh, bullshit. I ain't got time to prove it. If I had video, it'd be simply easy to prove.
I believe you.
If people can't tell by the conviction in my voice when I talk about these things, the passion that I talk about it in, how I talk about it, then that's their problem. But we would tell dogs where to bite, and before they would do it, you can see them look at that particular spot. Then they'll go, boom, go here, boom, go here. They would go there. And is it trainable? Yes, you train it. How do you train it? I'll give this jewel away. When I tell a dog and he's on one arm, I tell him to bite the other arm. I take him off that one and I put him on this arm. When I say bite the leg, I'll take him off this one, I put him on the leg. How simple is that? Some people don't think about it.
You got your own unique style. Shaolin master, but you got your own unique style. Like I say, a lot of stuff is normal to you, but
yeah.
Man.
And that's what I have to keep reminding myself of. You know, that's my style. That's what I learned and what we perfected. When I was a kid, the stray dogs that we used to keep, me and three of my other buddies, we used to all get dogs. They'll say, okay, let's get it. And we give each other 3 or 4 months to do some training. To do some training with that dog. And then we would have little competitions in the neighborhood. And by the time we get halfway through it, they were gone. I turn around, where y'all at? They going down the street because they didn't know there was no competition. You know, stuff like that. It's just different, man. When it comes to dog training, for me and a lot of other people, it's so ingrained in what I do, it consumes a lot of my day.
So what advice would you have for new up-and-coming trainers that will make sure they advance and not repeat some of the mistakes you made as a youngster? What advice do you have for them?
They need to get out, and I'm not going to tell them to be humble, because if you look up the word humble, that means put yourself beneath other people. But they need to get out and experience other people, see what they do, learn from other people. You may not take and switch your whole program around, but you may see one thing that they do that you can put in your program and make your program run a little smoother. You know, I learned something from an old lady. That lady had to be in her mid-70s. I go in a buddy of mine's pet store, and she's walking down there with a Malinois. Probably had to be an 80-pound Malinois. And I walked out, I said, ma'am, I got a question. What are you doing, that big old dog? That big old Malinois? She said, he's my personal protection dog. I said, turn him on. She was an old German lady. She said something, that son bitch went crazy in that store on me. And I said, okay, turn him off. And she told him, and he came right back to a heel position. And then I said, oh, that is awesome. We exchanged information. I did a couple of tune-up classes for her. But one thing that I saw this lady do that I integrated in my program was when she walked up to the register to sit down, the dog sat crooked, where his butt was behind her legs.
Mm.
Picked her legs up backwards, and he fixed himself where he lined up straight.
Mm-hmm.
Picking her feet up backwards and bumped him like you're not supposed to be there. I remember learning that when I was a kid, but I never saw it until I saw it then. And we're talking years and years and years in between that.
Wow.
And I learned that from that 70-year-old lady. Well, I'm saying learn it, but relearned it, I should say, from that 70-year. And I put it back into my program, you know. And getting out and talking to people, man, and networking is the biggest thing, the biggest advice I can give some of the younger guys, because their way isn't the only way. My way isn't the only way. Somebody else isn't. What you do, you take a little bit from here, a little bit from here, a little bit from here, and you put your skill, it has to fit your skill set. True. Not my skill set, it has to fit theirs, yours, whoever's training. So you can take a little bit from all these different people to do it. You know, I saw this guy, Pat Nolan. He's big in the duck dogs and stuff like that. But the way that he imprints his dogs on odor and the tools that he used to do it, when I saw that was about 15 years ago. I was like, never thought about that. So I tried it. And it worked. It worked really good. It didn't work good as my system, but it worked good. So I put that in my mental Rolodex. And some dogs I use with it, I see if they like my system better or they like the system I saw Mr. Pat do with a little different tick to it, you know, or different people. So that taught me, even at that age, and at that time in my career, you can always learn. There's still more to learn about dog training, you know, and it's a lot to learn, and it's a lot of ways to get to the mall.
Facts. Now, a lot of my clients here, we talk about protection. This is a big topic right here. What's your experience, John? John Mims, favorite trainer. For people that got protection dogs, is it a good idea to allow strangers to pet and handle their dog if they're going to use that dog for protection?
Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. Repeat that, dude.
So for people that have, I'll wait. You got.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So for people that has protection dogs, puppies, they buy them as a puppy 8 or 10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And the goal is that they buy this dog to be a protection, personal protection, not sport, personal protection. Mm-hmm. Do you recommend, yes or no, to allow that person that owns a dog to allow outside strangers to pet their dog or to handle their dog? What's your thoughts on that?
Okay, long and short of it, no. And here's what I tell people. It's your dog to enjoy, not theirs. Okay? The second thing is safety, in the sense of, you know, the parvovirus is airborne. Mm-hmm. Parvovirus can stick to your shoes, your pants leg, hands. So to say those people been exposed to it, they stopped at somebody's house, that dog has that, and they come and they pet your dog. Now your dog has been exposed to it. It won't show up till 8 or 9 days later, the symptoms start showing up. So now you're at a loss on where your dog get this from. You know, so it's my dog to enjoy, my family's dog, not everybody else's. So also what that teaches dogs, along with training, not just by itself, but along with training, well, that alone makes dogs leery of people because it doesn't accept people. You want the dog to be stable enough and understanding enough to allow somebody to walk up to you to have a conversation and not go ape shit. You know, so letting everybody pet the dog and all that stuff, I'm not a big fan of it for those two reasons alone. You know, training teaches the dogs to be leery of people, pay attention to people, stuff like that. So at the end of the day, all of it comes down to training. You know, I don't let my dogs, people pet my dogs when I take them out. I just don't. That's my personal.
Some people do. Some people do. Some people think. So I think everybody got their own style of doing it. Me personally, I don't let nobody touch my dogs.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
No.
and with there's a different strain of parvo going now, that's out, and like I said, it's airborne and it's too easy to transmit things just from touching one dog to another dog. You go to the pet stores and walk through the pet stores. It's so easy to pick stuff up from other dogs that's there. Everybody don't take care of their dogs like you, like me, like other people. So in that sense of it, I just don't want to expose my dog to those things. So training is always top shelf in my program. So whatever you want to do to training. So if I want a dog to be leery of people, depending on my lifestyle, my client's lifestyle, if they want a friendly dog, then yeah, we're gonna let them interact a little more, things like that. But if they have an idea that they want this puppy to be a protection dog, then a protection dog has to be raised a little differently, in my opinion.
Do you feel like a dog that's raised? Do you feel like a dog that's more leery of strangers is easier to train in protection than a dog that's a little bit more socially acceptable? Because we see a lot of dogs, they great, they social, but at the same time they still do it. So what you think is
so that's what we call light switch. We want a light switch dog.
Okay.
I don't want nobody to know my dog is trained like that until it's too late. That's just my motto, you know. But I want my dogs to be stable enough. If I take them out, just say to PetSmart, Tractor Supply,
yeah,
they're stable enough to walk through that, not bother people and things like that. But they also are aware of what's going on around me. If someone makes an aggressive move, my dogs understand that that's an aggressive move and it won't be tolerated. It'll be dealt with. So it kind of gets back to training and what people's ultimate goal is on how that dog should be raised, what you can accept, what you can allow the dog to accept at a young age. I have a Doberman now I'm training for a guy, and he's a very active guy. He's in school. Him and his friends go out to the mall, to the food court, and he takes the dog with him everywhere he goes. And we're training the dog for protection work. So that dog's stability has to be 140%, 150% because of the environments and the lifestyle that this guy carries. To me, that takes a lot of training and repetition. You can't train a dog like that in 5 months, 6 months. It may take a year, it may take a year and a half before that dog is stable enough that I can trust and put my name on it and say, okay, your dog's finished. And the dogs, it can handle this situation, this situation, this situation. Everybody don't train like that. You know, I've seen it. I can tell from the videos, you know, that their system is a little different. They don't quite believe in that. And that's fine. They can do what they want to do. But I can tell you a lot of those people that train a little looser than that, or loose, period, it's a lawsuit and it's coming somewhere down the line. It's coming.
Now, based on, make sure y'all smash the thumbs up. We on the road to 2,000. Make sure y'all follow John Mims. I put his phone number up there. So if you're looking for a Malinois, if you need some training, my goal is to maybe one day, as my channel grows, to do like a workshop, like in Atlanta, where people can come and you can sit down, because you deserve to get paid. You deserve, with all this knowledge, to be paid for this. It's not a free game. You know what I mean? And I appreciate you giving this information for us right here. So, with that being said, with you said Malinois is like basically the Michael Jordan of dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you take a dog, say like a pit bull? They may not have the nose of a Malinois, but can you have them work? Can you train a pit bull or say like a Corso to do nose work?
I've done it. Yeah, certainly. I've done 3 pit bulls that they certified as narcotics detection dogs. I got my female. I got a little small Corso here. I did nose work with her when she was 4 months old.
Okay.
I did out of the litter, I think 6 out of the 8 that I had, and that litter was given to me. A guy gave the litter to me. Some things happened, so I wound up with that litter. But she'll still do some nose work. I can go and hide stuff now, and I hadn't worked in probably 2 months. I was just playing with her one time, I don't know, a couple of months ago, And I told her to go and find it, and she went and indicated on the odor. So can those dogs and you know, I put a post up, and I think I might have said it on Joe's show, that if you take a like some people say a game pit bull, and you get him young enough, I can have him fight against his genetics to a very high degree. He's never gonna not want to do that, because it'll always be there because of the dog he is. But what I meant and what I tried to explain to people in that video, and when I said it, and I've talked to a few people since then, here's how that would look. I get a pup at 7 weeks, 8 weeks old, a game pit, like they say, a game pit.
Yeah.
Every time he shows that aggression, there's a correction. And I said, don't do that. Do this. Let's play this game.
Okay.
Find this, and I'm not a treat trainer, but find this and I'll give you a treat. So this is not appealing to him because there's corrections and there's things that come behind this that he doesn't like. But when I do this, I like this. So that bad stuff goes to sleep in his mind, and the fun stuff stays up at the front of his mind. Now, if I stop doing the fun stuff, he will revert back to the bad stuff.
Wow, okay.
And that's what I tell people. I'm not saying I'll never make him want to be what he was genetically put here to be. What I'm saying is I can manipulate that to get this out of him and put this to sleep. I've done it. It ain't a if, ands, or buts. I've done it. I've done it with Mals, Dutches, Corsos, Pits, standard poodles, Dobermans. Dobermans aren't known for scent work. Dobermans are known for sight. Dobermans are sight dogs.
Oh, wow.
Those dogs. You know, like I mentioned it earlier, if you're training a protection dog and you don't do some form of scent work, you're doing a dishonesty to your dog. Meaning, if I come home and my dog's in the house, I let him out the crate, let him go out to use it. He comes in, he's just chilling. And all of a sudden he gets up. I didn't realize somebody broke in my house and he's in the room waiting for me to get comfortable or whatever the case is. And the dog sits there, and for whatever, the dog gets a hint. So wait a minute. I'm smelling something that ain't, wait a minute, that smell ain't supposed to be here. And he goes in the room and deals with whoever is in there, because I taught him to identify stuff and use his nose and develop that nose in that dog. He saved my life.
We own it. Yeah, we got to get you in the workshop, man. Lana, like I said, my channel we gonna make it happen one day. My channel ain't big enough yet, and I don't got sponsors or the money right now.
Yeah, it's gonna get there. You keep doing the good work you're doing, man, and it's gonna get there. You know, it's gonna get there, certainly.
So let me ask you this: you said you don't use treats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Based on all your years of experience, can you explain why you don't use treats, and also based on your experience, what do you think is the best reward that you can give a dog? Because they got to have some form of reward when you're doing training. What's the best reward that you can give them? Now, rewards are pets, praise. That counts as a reward. Pets, praise, food. Okay, so break it down. Wait, tell us your thing.
What do you always have with you? You.
Yeah, that's true.
You.
That's true.
You may cut up some hot dogs to take out to the training field and stop on your way out the door, set them down, get sidetracked, and walk out the door and leave those treats right here on the table. You get around there to the training field 20, 30, 40 minutes away. Damn, I forgot my treats. So are you going to train, or are you going to come back home, get those treats, and go back to training? What you always have with you is what's in between these two ears. Is the brain. Now you're saying the pet, the praise is the reward.
Reward too.
You're the reward. You are the reward.
You a pet and praise. Okay, so yeah.
Now, here's the caveat of it. So a verbal praise is one type of praise.
Okay.
Putting my hand on him is another type of praise.
Okay.
All of those are praises and motivating him to do and like what he's doing, right? What's better is if he does it and I turn around and I walk off and I don't say nothing to him. I walk off, just say 5 yards, and I come back and I have him do it again. For some dogs, they do it a lot harder and a lot quicker because they did it. I didn't give him any attention. I walked off like I was disgusted. I come back and I give him a chance to do it again. Most dogs will do it a little harder and a little faster. Now I'm going to give you a lot of love because you did it with a little more speed. So now that counteracts that e-collar, me just turning around, walking off. He's like, Daddy, what I need to do to get some attention? Okay, I'm going to give you a chance. Do it again. If you know some of my videos, when I'm doing scent work, I tell the dog, show me again. He's on the odor and his nose is on the odor. And then he'll bag up and he'll look at me. I say, show me again. So I'm motivating him to keep showing me there's no what's the word? There's no hesitation. There's no way nobody can question that dog isn't telling me where that odor is and he's in odor because he's going back to the same spot. Show me again. Show me again. I walk off. I say, where was it? And he'll go right back to the same spot. So I'm rewarding him sometimes by my body movements, the actions, how I'm petting him, how I love on him when he does it. All of those things are what I keep with me. Mm-hmm. I want him to work for me because that praise has to come from me. That hand praise has to come from me.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Those treats can come from anybody.
You're right.
You know how a lot of dogs get stole? Because those, like there was a guy here had a guard dog service. Used to put Rockwallers out at used car lots, different places. I know a guy stole about 7 of that man dogs. He would go there and he'd feed them through the fence over the weekend. Sunday night, he'd go there, the dogs at that same spot before he gets there waiting for him to come. Because he went every night, the same spot at the same time. So those dogs learn to eat from other people. That ain't where the reward is. I'm the reward. What I give you from me is the reward. Me touching you and me talking to you and me loving on you. That's the reward. Those treats aren't. Those treats can lead to other people taking that dog. If you train your dog with treats, why can't I walk up to him with treats and take off with him?
Makes sense.
He's working for that treat. He ain't working for you.
Now you're right, though. You're right, though. John, let me ask you this. Now, you say you don't do battles, but I got a battle for you right here. John Mims, 2026 versus 1996 John Mims. Who will win that battle right there? Who will win that? Who will win that? 1996 versus 2026. Who win that? Who win that battle?
The 2026 will, because I know more than I knew back then. You know. And
the dogs was better back then.
The dogs were better. But what I've learned from then to now, with the dog's temperament that they are now, I had to adjust some of the ways that I do things. You know, like some people call training, certain kinds of training, compulsion work. I don't know if you ever heard that word, compulsion.
Yeah, I heard it.
I'm going to force you to do this, or I'm going to put my foot in your butt.
Yeah.
That's how it was looked at years ago.
Yeah.
What's the difference in that than putting a shock collar on him? If you don't do it, I'm gonna fry your ass with this electricity.
Both of them is a form of punishment. Yeah,
both of them form of punishment. But when corrections come from me directly, I want my dog to know that I'm doing this. I'm correcting you. There's nothing in between me and you. I'm correcting you. I don't do boarding trains per se. But I get a dog here for a boarding train, or I get a dog back that's too aggressive for people. Instead of putting the dog down, I'll take the dog and let him live his life out here. Because I don't believe in dogs being rehabbed to my satisfaction to say that I can give this dog to somebody else and they never have that problem. I don't look at that like that. If they give me the dog for their problems, I'll keep the dog and if it can't go into police work, and I'm very picky on that, then I'll just keep the dog here and let him live his life out.
Wow, that's amazing.
And so if he gets here and he barks like crazy, I'll go out there the first time or two and shut the hell up.
Yeah.
I want him to know that shut up is coming from me. Some people will go right away and they'll put the shock collar on him. And they'll put the shock collar on him and they don't say nothing. They'll just shock him from sitting in here on the couch. Sit here in the bed or whatever and just reach over and shock the dog. Well, the dog doesn't associate you with the corrections and you telling him to shut up. I want him to know. So the first 3 or 4 times I go out there and I tell him to shut up, I want him to know that it's coming from me. All right. So this, I'm going to show you something that I learned from a guy about 30 years ago. You know what this is?
Not really. No.
Somebody ask comments if they know what this thing is.
It might be. It looked like it's something you use in a lawn in the yard.
You know, that's a cattle prod.
Oh, a cattle prod. Oh, okay. Do they use those with horses?
Yeah, what they work the dogs and cows with at the cattle house.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So all that is a shock collar on a stick.
Okay.
That's all that is. But I learned a trick from an old guy. I went out and watched him train some hunting dogs, some duck dogs. And when the other dogs that wasn't being worked, when they would make noise, he'd go over and he'd pop it off of like the bumper of the truck, and it'll make a little noise. So the dogs learn the first couple of times. I'm watching this, and this is how I tell you when I go to watch people and dogs, I watch everything. So I'm watching the old guy do it, and he'll hit the bumper with tat, 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 tat. So he's giving the dog a warning, shut up. Tat, 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 tat. So he'll do that 3 or 4 times. The 5th time he go over there, he'll touch him with it. He's not hitting the button the first time because after you hit it, it's still got a little static in it.
Okay.
So when you touch something, it'll just, you know how you put a shirt on that's on and it'll give you that little static shock. That's what it'll happen the 4th time he does it. He'll go and do it like that. And if the dog persists, then he'll touch him with that cattle prod and he'll shut up and he learns then. All the guy has to do is show it to him, point it at him, and he'll shut up. So now that's an e-collar on a stick. So now you take the stick out, you put the part that stings him on the collar, and you got the part that you push the button on that handle in your hand. Then you tell the dog, shut up. And if he don't shut up, you vibrate it, you make the noise, and then you go to the sting. So it's just a progression of corrections. But me, with mine, I want to start off with those corrections. That's why I say I'm not totally against an e-collar, because in those instances, you have to have someone that's stronger than just your voice at that time, or going out there getting too physical with a dog to even the battle out. So I'll go out and yell at him, shut up. Then I'll go out and I'll get the hose pipe and I'll spray him with some water. I'll give him every chance in the world to believe and listen to my voice, that if you don't do it, there's something coming behind it, but there's a lead up to it. And before I get to hitting him, and I don't touch my dogs with the cattle, I just hold it to the fence and let it pop off the fence. And most of them, they say, what's that? I don't like it. I can smell it. I get away from it, and they shut up. And that's how most of them learn. But I learned that from a guy years and years and years ago that trained duck dogs. So we're always learning. We always should be striving to learn different things, different techniques. You know, I've had that thing about 25 years. I've changed the batteries in it twice. I don't know how the batteries keep working, but I changed the batteries in it twice in 25 years. I would not lie to you.
Now,
you know, but it's a deterrent. It's a deterrent, you know, more than anything.
I like the way you use different tools in your bag, and like I like that. I like that.
And all I want them to see it. I can just put it out the door after a while, and they see it. Okay, everybody go in their house. You know, So it's a deterrent. I want that correction to come from me first before I go to the e-collar, to try to straighten that thing out. Now, by all means, you got some dogs that just harder than others. They're just stubborn than others. They digging holes in the yard. You can't go out and catch them fast enough before they get away from the hole. And sometimes by then, if you can't get them when they're digging the hole, there's no sense of correcting them.
No.
But then you put that e-collar on him and you just sit at the back door, look out the back window and wait for him to go dig and bust his tail with that e-collar. You solve that problem, Yeah. But here's the trick before that. If they digging holes, I'll go scoop up some of their poop and put in that hole where he was digging at. And the next time he go dig, he's not going to dig because that poop's in that hole.
That's some gems right there, y'all. That's a free gem, right? That's a free nugget right there, y'all. That's a free nugget.
And then
that's a free nugget.
If he goes to another hole and dig, I'll just scoop some more poop up and put it in the other one. And usually after 2 times, they just stop digging because the poop always shows up.
That one, because I'm gonna have to steal that. Hopefully you don't mind me stealing that. I hopefully you don't mind.
Get it, get it. Yeah, go with it. So, yeah, so it's a lot of things, like some of these youngsters, they don't know that stuff. I can tell when I talk to them if they're repeating something that they heard other people say, or if they're talking from experience. And that is done by the words they use and how they use these words. It tells older guys what they've been, where they at with stuff. I don't use a lot of big words when it comes to dog training, like a lot of people, and that's just the way of the world now. If they go to school, the book says this and the book says that, and it has to be said like this or this drive or that drive. Some people don't know when a dog is. Some dogs are so fluid they go in and out of drive just at the blink of an eye. And these people don't know that. Get out of that. They don't understand that, and they argue about drive. You hear people argue about quadrants. I don't know if you years ago that was the biggest thing, working in quadrants.
Yeah, quadrants. Yeah,
that's a human thing that we want to know. That dog doesn't know anything about a damn quadrant. All that dog knows is feed me. I'm gonna protect the yard. If you train me to do a job, I'm gonna do the job. And if I gotta bite you, I'm gonna bite you. What quadrant a dog works in means nothing to that dog. Knowing as a trainer, and you've been trained and you work with your dog, knowing if I'm sitting here and my dog gets up and goes to the front door, I don't know what quadrant he's working in, but I know what my dog is telling me when he gets up and go to that front door, somebody at the front door. What the hell do I need to know what quadrant that is?
Are you saying that? Are you saying that a person can be too scientific and analytical when it comes to?
It's a dog. It's a dog. It's a damn dog, man. You ain't got to be that technical and man, it's a damn dog. It's a dog. And
yeah.
Then, some people don't understand because they want to be politically correct. Like they know this much or they know that much. They want to sound important to people. But who are you sounding important to? Because the average person don't know what you're talking about anyway. So you break it down to them from the start.
I agree with you on that, bro. I don't like the extra science stuff. I like people that can explain it in a way that make it easier. Now, if some people is more scientific, so it benefits some people. But me personally,
well, that's the people that want to keep it signed. They need to. That's the people in the show ring, confirmation ring.
I come to find out some people just more analytical of that. I'm gonna get to Joe's question.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, it kind of covers on my question.
Okay.
Joe, and then I got a question right after it. Joe,
yes, sir.
Joe, shout out Joe. Joe finna get 100,000. He about to get 100,000. He about to start driving Ferraris and everything.
Yeah.
Joe finna buy Ferraris and Lambos. How much distance in between the unwanted behavior and the correction can a dog understand? Great question.
How much
distance in between unwanted behavior and the correction? Okay, because you was talking about the cattle prod and you was using it. That's an excellent question right there. Yeah, that's a good one.
So how much distance unwanted behavior and a correction. I'm trying to break that down in my mind.
Yeah, that's an excellent question right there.
I'm not understanding it in the way he's saying it.
Joe, Joe, break it down. Joe, we talk about those scientific. Hey, Joe, you gotta bring it down. That's scientific, Joe. Bring it down.
Because I'm so used to simplifying things.
Yeah, that's an excellent question, though.
Yeah, it's an excellent question. So I'll say when a dog does an unwanted behavior, if you correct that behavior at the time that it's done or next to the time it's done, a second later, 5 seconds later, the dog, and most dogs, they don't remember what they've done. You hear a lot of people say stuff like that. With some dogs, though, if you leave a dog in the house and you walk in the door and that dog then went behind the couch and took a dump, as soon as you hit that door, that dog know the shit, he gonna find it, and he go run in his kennel and hide to get away from it. So I can't correct him because he done something that when I wasn't here to let him out to use it. I can't penalize him for that, you know. So it's the distance of when him messing up and me correcting him. That's too much distance in between it. If I guess that's how he's saying it. I'm gonna call Joe and then because
I send him the link. I send him the link. He'll probably jump on and ask you.
Okay.
So I got another question. Some of our personalities is stricter than others. Some of us is more
right.
Some of us has military mindset.
Mm-hmm.
What advice do you give to people based on corrections of puppies? Because we know a heavy hand can destroy a puppy.
Right.
We have handlers on that and how to navigate so you won't destroy your puppy, even though you might have a militant personality.
Okay, so this is what I tell people. You can't discipline a dog so heavy to where the dog tails tuck. Okay, there we go, Joe. Joe, what do you mean? Ask me that question in layman terms.
Ask me again and get back to mine. What you mean? Joe, Joe, you asking them real scientific questions, bro. You got to bring it down a notch.
I think he already answered it, and everything, because John really I talked to Doug a lot, and he done school me and Doug, and John can really simplify things.
That's important.
He really simplified things. So I wondered, is it sometimes too like just our relationship with our dogs, and like I call it old black woman training. You know, when I had a babysitter. And she had that little switch, and all them dogs would do whatever she wanted them to do. So when John was talking about that cattle prod, I was just wondering, like, well, how does the distance affect that, or do they know? Okay, here come Daddy. Here come Daddy. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
They know when they see that. Like I said, if they barking too much, and I just hold it out the door, they know what it means. They know what it is. Or if I walk up to one of them's kennel, when they see it, most of them, they're going in the house because they know somebody. Then if they could talk to each other, they say, motherfucker, shut up, you getting us in trouble. Because they see me coming out with it, or they see it at the door, you know?
Right.
A shepherd here that I just rescued, I sold the dog to a lady, and I got the dog back to resell it, and she barks a lot. So she's gotten to the point the dog is so full of juice and want to go and play that I had to put the e-collar on her because I got tired of going out there telling her, hey, shut up, you're about to get it. So I put the e-collar on her. But before I get her with it, even now, every other time I might go out there and shut up, and then I'll sting her a little bit. So
all right, I got you. I got you. Okay, so, I'm out. Thank you, Jaguar. Keep doing a good job, bro.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah.
Before you leave, I know you wasn't trying to do this. You never ever talk about your Central Asian Shepherds. Why you never talk about them?
Because they not my primary. They not a dog that I push primarily. They're just a dog that I got for like the area I live in, where we have a lot of predators and everything like that. But I got something for sale because I'm kind of like thinning them out. Everybody I've sold them to, they happy with them. and everything like that. But the Corso is my primary dog.
Okay.
But I'm one of them dudes. I'll go see. I'll go pay to see. So if I got interest in it, guess what? I'll go ship it from overseas because I have an interest in it. I'll go buy that dog. Yeah.
Keep doing your thing, man. Look forward to your you're gonna be live. You know what I'm saying? We look forward to that.
Likewise. Hey man, keep doing what you're doing. Only advice I gotta give for you is do what you're doing, like stay consistent and don't let nobody control your shit, bro. You gotta be a renegade. Don't let nobody control your shit and keep dealing with dudes like John that got that knowledge.
Rex, I appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Joe.
So shout out to Joe. He's doing big things. He got, like I said, Joe push up in a test. He ain't playing with him. And if you want Central Asian Ochakras, Joe don't talk about it. If you want those Central Asian Shepherds and the Caucasian, he might got Caucasians. Reach out to him. Those dogs is some serious dogs.
Yeah.
Now, back to my question about correction, because a heavy hand can destroy a person's spirit, even in the human world. A person that's too strict can cause problems. What do you recommend on developing puppies to make sure that you learn to do that?
People, when I talk to people with puppies, I tell them your frustration can be the worst thing that happens to your dog. You're gonna go through the dog chewing on shoes or having accidents in the house. Those are things you have to be ready for. I say the best thing you can do if you're that mad and frustrated and pissed off for what he's done, put him in a crate in the kennel and leave him there instead of putting your hands on him. Because some dogs, they learn from the corrections, and some dogs, they cower from the corrections.
That's a good point.
The best thing to do when you're frustrated with a dog is put them up. Correct them when you're mad. Don't correct them when you're frustrated, you're pissed off, because your chances are you're going to overcorrect the dog. Put them in the crate. You hear people say, "Oh, the crate should be looked at as somewhere where the dog can relax and get away from things, and that's his home. He should feel safe." He gonna feel all of that. He gonna feel his ass locked up too in that crate too. He gonna feel that too. That's how I look at it. I got a little 3-pound Chihuahua here. When my wife came back from California, we bought a new living room set. She says, "Lock the dog up at night because I don't want it to get on the couch when we're asleep." So when I go to put her up at night, she growls and she fusses at me, the dog, but she has to go in the crate. And it's no problem. I'm not mad. I'm not frustrated with her. I'm not pissed off because she's growling at me. I understand she just doesn't like to go in there at night. She's only chewed on one shoestring since she's 3 years old.
Okay.
But when she was out, I kept her in the room where I can keep my eyes on her. But she didn't chew up anything. And the time she chewed the shoestring, I left out. That was the first time I ever left out while I left the house. And I came back. The damage was already done. There's no need for me to punish her at that point. Some people like housebreaking tips. So when they catch the dog getting ready to tinkle on the floor, just call the dog, get his attention. And most dogs, when you do that, they'll stop. Pick the dog up and take them outside and let them do their business. Wow. Instead of chastising the dog, just, hey, stop. Pick them up, take them outside, and let them do their business. Back in and put them in the crate for about 15, 20 minutes. Because, most dogs that go out there they'll save a little bit for when they come back in.
Right.
So when you take them out there, I bring them back in and put them back in the crate for a few minutes. And then they tend to learn that system. When I go out to use, I got to come back in the crate. So chastising and punishing a dog, I tell all the people that I train that has young dogs and stuff like that, if you feel like when you feel that correction coming, just put the dog in the crate. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to overcorrect them. Some people think different. I just tell people from my experiences how I've done it and what I've had success with. And that's with all breeds. That's not just with certain breeds, because, you get some a little stubborn than others. You have to correct them where you put them in the crate more than others. If they're chewing on something and I can get over there to some dogs, I'll just pick them up by the scruff of their neck and put them in a different direction, or give them a toy to, hey, don't chew on that, here, chew on this. So that's not acceptable, but this is. And one thing you don't see, I don't see puppies doing anymore. Not puppies, but dogs doing. Back in the day, mama dogs used to pick dogs up by the scruff of their neck and move them. Or when they used to fight, they'd go over there, grab them by the neck, or they'll just hold them down. I barely see that now. And I used to breed real heavy from 07 to 09. No, to 2010. I used to breed 2-3 Malinois litters at a time. That was a shitload of puppies. And I had to understand and learn all of them or most of them and understand the difference in things and learning things and what works with certain dogs and this temperament of dogs. I need to do this with, that with, and learn how to separate them from the temperaments. I put all the tough dogs with the tough ones, and all of the meeker ones are the ones that's not as expressive as those. I take them and put them over here. The ones that I just assume to be pets, I put them over here and then let them figure that out. And then let the ones that's a little less aggressive, let them figure it out. And then 1 or 2 of them gonna be aggressive. Then I take these that were in the middle temperament. Somebody got to stand tall in that litter. Over here where the all tough ones at, somebody got to stand tall in that litter. So now I'll take all you want to be kingpins and put you in the pen together and see where those temperaments shake out at them. Who really is the top dog? That's some things with puppies you do. You kind of try to figure out, see where they're going, where their temperament is, how consistent your program is when you're breeding, stuff like that. Everybody has a way of doing things and checking things out. And I may be getting off topic with that stuff, but everybody has different ways of evaluating dogs, what they look for, what's acceptable. Because what's acceptable to another Malinois breeder may not be acceptable to me.
Facts.
I've gotten dogs from a guy that was at I think he was in the top 2 of government contracts with Malinois at one time. So I'd go up to get a couple of dogs from him. And he'd say, take that one with you. Take that one with you. I didn't ask him why, but at the time he evaluated them, that one didn't show him good and that one didn't show good. For whatever reason. But I get home and put a little time and work into him, and that joke would be hell on wheels, man, Now, that doesn't say anything less or more about him. What it says about me is I may have a little more time than him to put into those 2 puppies that he just didn't show what he was looking for at the time. That has a lot to do with the dogs, with puppies, with grading puppies out, with selecting puppies, stuff like that. People come here to buy a puppy. I'll tell them, come here, take a look. That's the one you want? Put some fingernail polish on him. So let's go eat. We'll go eat lunch. Come back. Because before they got here, they might have got a delay. They might be an hour late. I might fed the dogs in between it. So the best puppy might be over there laying down. So now we go eat, give them an hour to let that food digest and come back. Say, now this is the one you picked, but now you want this one. And I'll ask them why. Well, that one, I didn't see that. Yeah, he was here. He wasn't here no way. He was here. He was over there laying down asleep. He just ate a little more than the other ones. So now they picked that one. Don't always pick the first puppy to see. And always, every day that thing can change who's the leader of the pack with some dogs, with puppies. And then some of them not. They just heads and tails above the rest, and they're going to stay heads and tails above the rest. So picking puppies, breeding dogs, training, I try to cover all that bases as a trainer, as a complete trainer. Don't talk things I don't know. Like I said, some of the dogs in hunting dogs, I don't know. I don't know nothing about squirrel dogs. But I can go out there for about a week and I can guarantee I can get it down. I just did a dog that sniffed cancer for a cancer research center out here. For cancer. I saw that on TV one time. I said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. And I had the right connections and it happened.
Did you ever think about writing a book?
I'm working on it.
What's the title gonna be? You gotta call it. You gotta call it John Mims, your favorite trainer's favorite trainer. That's the title of it.
I don't know. I'm thinking of my journey through my dog life or something like that.
Amazing, bro. I'll buy it for sure. I'll buy it.
Ideas down. Some of the things I've seen. I met an old guy. He lived in Mississippi. I used to hear about this guy on the Live Variety show out here when I was a kid. So his dogs used to count money. And what I mean by that, he could take $21 bills and sit on the back of his truck on the tailgate. And he'll tell that dog, he'll say, look, Duke, don't let him pick up no more than $8. All right. He'll turn his back to the dog. He'll pick up $8. When you go down to when you go to pick up the $9th, the dog put his mouth on your hand. He wouldn't bite, he'll just stop and say, hey, he said no more than 8. So you'll put the money back, he'll say, Duke, let him pick up $2. That's it. And he'll say it in different ways. You know, you go to pick up the $3rd, the dog put his mouth on your hand. He did a thing where he would put 6 people on the other side of the parking lot. So you just say 50 yards in between. Say, look, Duke, go over there and get that fat person. The dog will go across the parking lot, and the fattest person out of the bunch, he'll bump him on the leg all the way back across the parking lot to that man.
Wow.
So I used to see this, and I said, man, you know, that was a kid, and that's what stuff like that is what drove me when it came to dogs. So I got a chance to meet this man. I went up to his place, and I know how long ago it was. My son was 2 years old, and he's 28 now, so it was 26 years ago. I go up there and I meet him. His name was Reverend Jones, and I introduced myself to him and said, figure we can talk to each other, meet each other, and learn some stuff. I can teach you, you can teach me. But he wasn't into that. He says, son, I work by myself. I say, well, Reverend Jones, how do you do bite work by yourself? He says, I stand there and I look at the dog. I talk to him without saying nothing. And then we just do the training. We do it. I found that so strange, but yet appealing. So in the middle of a sentence, I said, where that dog? I'd like to see him. In the middle of the sentence, he actually called the dog from outside. The dog opened the screen door and came in and sat on the side of the desk with him. I said, Reverend Jones, where that dog come from? He said, son, you didn't hear me call that dog? I said, no. He said, wow. So when I rode on my way home, I thought about the whole conversation. Once again, like I told you earlier, I listen and I watch everything people do with their dog, and I'm replaying our conversation. And I actually heard him call it, Joe, come here. I heard him say that. But we talking and a few more, me about 15 minutes, his phone rang. He said, son, I'll talk to you later. Man, I done drove an hour and 20 minutes and that's all you got to talk to me? That was it. I got up and I left. I came home, Jaguar, and I take a dog out, and I was having problems with this dog going into a down. Okay. I sat there and I looked at that dog and I'm talking to him without saying anything. And I'm saying to myself, if your ass don't down this time, I'm going to hang my foot in your ass. I'm going crazy on him in my mind, but I'm talking to him. And the last thing I told him, look, let's do this down, and then I won't fool with you no more today. Told the dog to down out loud, went to a down. Now, what that man did and what he taught me and what he told me is sometimes you have to be quiet enough so the dog can hear you.
That's another gem.
Yeah. So sometimes you have to just talk to the dog without talking. It sounds weird, but when you, and it kicked me back to what my dad taught me. When you bonded with that dog, sometimes you can talk to him with your eyes without saying anything.
Wow.
You know, so when people ask me my advantage, I got patience. I don't mind putting in the time. I think off the wall sometimes with a lot of stuff that I do with dogs.
Okay.
Results are there. The results are there. I got a compliment. I've said this before on Joe's podcast. Don Mega.
Shout out to Don Mega, y'all.
Don Mega. He watched some of my videos, and I had some dogs, some puppies at that time. They were named after alphabets. I think it was E, C, 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 E, B, B, and I forget the fourth one. But I took them to this little creek, and they had a tree that fell down across this big creek. It wasn't but a foot deep or so at the time. So I'm trying to show people and teach people, when you bonded with your dog, once again, you don't have to talk a lot. Your body language says a lot. So I take this dog out. I walk across this tree. It wasn't but 10 feet, 20, 15 feet. I walk across that tree that fell down, and I said, "Come on, B." B looked at me. He started running up and down the little fence, the little grass line, trying to figure out how to get to me. Well, I'm thinking me and B are bonded enough. If I turn around and walk off, he's going to figure out a way to come to me. I said, "All right, B, I'm gone." When I turned around and walked off, I could hear his nails hitting that tree. And he trying to come across. "Daddy, don't leave me." That's what he was saying.
Wow.
"Daddy, don't leave me."
Yo, we need that book, man, for real. We need the workshop. We need the book. We gonna manifest it. We gonna make that happen.
So look, Don says, Don says, "Mims, I looked at that video and I said, ain't no way that shit is gonna work." And he said 2 minutes later, the dog came over there. So when we went back, he didn't hesitate the second time. He just came straight across with you. So I bring him home, I get another one, and I take the other dog out. So this time I didn't go across the tree, I went across the water. Just the water went across. Now the dog's seeing me do this. So I get over there and I call him to me. "Come on, let's go. See whichever one it was. Come on." He didn't want to come at first. He looked at the tree, go back to the water, he just running back and forth. "Okay, I'm gone." I turn around and I take 2 steps and I hear that water, one splash. He on the other side here, he come right up there with me. "Don't leave me." Did he come? I didn't train him to do that. I let him see me do it, and the bond that we had is what drove them to come over there to me. So sometimes dogs work with training and a bond. When you're bonded with your dog, you don't have to talk so much.
That's amazing right there. That's amazing. Make sure y'all smash the thumbs up, man. This is John's number. Make sure y'all follow him. It's your favorite trainer's favorite trainer. I got one question, then we just going. We got these little fun questions at the end.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Okay. So, in your opinion, for all the people out there that's working their dogs in protection, what do they want to look for and make sure that's not so good when it comes to finding a good decoy to work their dog?
All right. Here's the first thing. This ain't a gym. Let me think how. I'll tell you what, I'll call and I'll give you that gym. I don't want to give it to other people. I'm gonna call and give you this one, give you that one. But you want to find somebody that fits your ideas. Don't just let somebody get in front of your dog and you don't have a conversation with them. You don't talk to them. You don't tell them where your dog is or what you think you need to work on with your dog, because some of these guys just get in front of your dog and start doing stupid shit. They don't know where your dog is. They don't know how far you're into your training, and they can push your dog backwards instead of forward. Okay? Talk to people. That's where coming in and networking, man, and finding out who can help you, who talks your talk. Josh McGee. I don't know if you heard of that, and he's in Atlanta. Josh.
Yeah, I've never been. I might take my dogs there to him.
Yeah, Josh.
Great. I heard it was good. I heard it was real nice.
Really good. So when people talk, call them, talk to them, and see if you like his conversation. If you like these guys, the way they talk, or they just talk. Yeah, just bring your dog. It costs you this much, and we work your dog. That's the people. I want nothing to do with those people.
That's a good point.
Instead of a guy saying, "Well, man, how long you had the dog? What you worked on before? Who you had around the dog? What have y'all worked on before? What kind of work you done? What are you looking to do with the dog? How far are you looking to go with the dog?" These are questions as a dog owner and I want to get my dog trained for protection work that I need to get into. These are questions I need to ask these people before. So before I take on a client for protection work, I want to know their lifestyle, how many kids they got, who's at the house. Do people just open their door and come in their house without knocking, without announcing themselves? Because if I got a protection dog in my house and I'm in the back room in the kitchen or whatever, and somebody just walks in the door, my dog has been trained for home invasions. So that looks like a home invasion, even though it's somebody that I know. So when you get a dog trained for protection, there are certain parameters that have to be put in place. But talking to people and knowing I want this dog trained for personal protection, mostly around my house. I don't go out much. I don't plan on taking this dog to Tractor Supply or PetSmart. I just want him around the house. So in my program, what I would do is concentrate on the scenarios that would happen around the people's house. I don't need to concentrate on things that are less likely to happen than things are more likely to happen. Let's put this stuff. That stuff we can hit on the last class or two, just so the dog can see the picture, but we need to perfect this, what needs to happen. This is what's more likely to happen in your life. So knowing what you want as a client, what your goal is for your dog, talk to people, let them know. You might have to talk to 2 or 3 trainers, because you can get in front of one trainer, they'll shut your dog down, they'll break him, and you'll never get him back.
Facts.
Never get him back. Some people say, what does that mean? They'll put too much pressure on your dog, and he's not worth the food you're feeding him. But that's all a part of being a trainer. I mean, a decoy too. So can I decoy dogs? Yeah, I learned it all. Handlers, trainer, decoy. Because somebody's a decoy don't mean they're a trainer. Because somebody's a handler.
Good decoy but not be a good trainer, and vice versa?
Yes, certainly.
Okay.
Certainly. Because if you think about it, a lot of decoys, they go to a 3-day seminar for PSA, and they say, okay, you're a decoy. They say you're a certified decoy. What can you learn about decoying different dogs in 3 days?
That's a good point.
That's not good. I've heard decoys at these trials. Oh man, he didn't do this. Oh, he didn't get out of there. Oh, he didn't do this. See, that dog's a little shy with this. And they could be right to a certain degree, but you're a decoy. Stay in a decoy's place. If you train with somebody and they have a decoy and they're the training director or the trainer at that club or whatever the case is, this is my opinion, and I think I'm not telling other people what to do or be whatever, but I'm telling you what I think will benefit most dogs and most people. You got a training director there and he's not giving instructions to that decoy, you're in the wrong place. Or if he's not giving you instructions how to handle your dog and train your dog, you're in the wrong place.
Wow.
Simply because I just don't, it's some people that can decoy and train, but most of them, they're decoys. Don't do my dog. I can't stand to see these guys touching the dogs that they decoy. They decoying and they praising the dog at the same time. Get the fuck out of here, man. You put your hand on one of my dogs that I train, and when he see you put your hand, I can't stand to see that.
Yo, John, you gonna have the internet on fire with that closet right there, boy. You gonna have the internet on fire with that.
I worked with one guy, and this was many, many years ago.
Yeah.
Told him, don't touch my dog. If you touch him, here's what separates trainers and decoys. All right.
Yeah.
If you bring your dog to me and we're training, and I'm training you, and I'm training and I'm telling the decoy how to work the dog.
Okay.
I'm gonna tell the decoy, if you're gonna touch him, you make it uncomfortable for the dog. That way he doesn't learn that somebody else touching him is okay. That dog is there to do harm and hurt that person. Did you see the video Larry Broadnex did where he for training as had a group of people out there, and the guy sends this shepherd in, he grabs the leash, he outs the dog and walks off with the dog and tells the dog to sit down and stay, and the dog does it.
Oh, I might have Larry Brothers. He from Chicago, right? Yeah, I seen that. Yeah, I seen that. And they was like, he just took control of the dog like that. I was like, wow, that was amazing.
You know what that come from?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
From the decoy sitting there petting him, telling him, oh, good boy, good boy. Wow. If you touch this dog, you should make it uncomfortable for him. Pull his ear, choke him, pull some hair off of him, make him get more into the fight, because who in their right mind and when they're getting bit is going to sit there and tell a dog he's doing a good job? That's not his job to do that. It's your job as the owner and the trainer and the head trainer or the training director to tell you to reward and pet your dog, not a damn decoy. You put your hand on one of my dogs that I train and he gonna let that arm bite go or wherever he's got and he feel you touching him, that's where the problem is. Now, I'm gonna bite that because that might be a knife stabbing him in the back or in the head or in the throat. You know, if me and you get into a fist fight and I feel a hit in the back of my head, I'm gonna do like this to see what. So why can't dogs do it? People say that, and the dog shouldn't pop off a bite. Bullshit. That's what I call it, because that what he feels might be a knife wound. That what he feels might be something hitting him with a bat, a stick, or something else.
Okay.
Whatever he's biting is immobile at that second, at that time. Now, you ask some trainers what they think about it, they tell you something different. I wouldn't want to fool with them. Or we just different. So what that goes back to is sport dogs, real dogs, police dogs. Dogs bite and they stay in one spot for a legal reason. For a legal reason, not anything else what somebody's talking about. Oh, this, that, and other. They don't know. It's a legal reason dogs bite and hold and stay in one spot. I'll call and I'll tell you that one too. I'm not going to tell everybody. Some people know, some people don't.
I got the exclusive.
Some people don't know. Let them learn from somebody else. Let me tell you this, because I'm kind of getting fired up as I talk. But this is where I see the dog industry going. With all these COVID trainers, because a lot of these people came out when COVID came and they had to stay in. So they had no income. So can some of these people actually train? Yes. But for the most part, what happened was they may have trained their dog a little, just a little bit. And then they say, oh, I got my dog to sit. Oh, I got my dog to down. COVID hit. Let me read a little book. Let me watch a little video. I'm going to go out and say I'm a dog trainer. And then they go out and then they start training dogs. And some of them do real good. Some of them make a good living at it. But what they don't make a living and they don't count on is dealing with that Corso that wasn't bred and he genetically screwed up. And they go to force him into a down and he pop up and bite the dog, bite them in their face, or something. So that's an issue. Another issue that the dog training business is going in the wrong direction, if you ask me, is everybody wants to post a video of the actual training. They showing how to make a dog sit. They're showing how to make a dog down. They're showing how to make the dog stay. Eventually, enough of these people are going to say, I can do this myself. I don't need to pay you nothing. So now what they've done, they shooting themselves in the foot and they running their own self out of business. There'll always be somebody that say, oh, I don't have time or I need help. But those people are going to become slim, few and far between. And they're messing the industry up with it, Or these people that charge $20,000 for a month board and train, $10,000 for a month board and train, $10,000, $20,000.
They probably live in California where the cost of living is higher.
One dude in Florida, the dude with the Corso, Gary Ween, $20,000 for a board and train. If he trains your dog, if one of his so-called trainers that he certified under his system trains your dog, it's $10,000. What makes somebody that you train? What makes you so much double their price? You trained them under your system, but you're gonna, because you did it, you're gonna charge them an extra 10 grand. And I talked to a lady that called him, and she said he had 4-month waiting list.
His marketing game, I can't be mad at him. Somebody gonna pay. His marketing game is crazy. That's great.
I'm mad at him because it's bullshit. You know what he puts on? I posted a picture of it. He had an e-collar on the dog, a choke chain on the dog, a pinch collar on the dog, a bag full of treats, a clicker, and he was trying to hide the e-collar because he had the lip thing that you put on your finger. Instead,
you can hate on. I use trees too, John. You can't hate on the trees though, John. You can't hate on the trees though.
Learn how to train that dog without that treat. Look, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you, figure this out.
Yeah.
Can you teach a dog to sit without a treat?
Yeah.
Can you?
Yeah.
Can you teach the dog to down without a treat?
Yeah.
Can you teach them to stay without a treat?
Yeah.
Why you use the treats?
Because it's fast, but then I fade the treats out.
Wait, time out. You said because it's faster.
Hey, yo, I'll put it like this. Look. We do the battles here, right? We'll take a dog, and I'll battle you. I'll battle you on obedience. Are you up for that? How much?
No, I don't battle.
Yeah.
Battle.
I know you're obedient, bro.
No battle.
You're obedient, bro.
So, I'm just saying to teach those basic moves.
Mm-hmm.
I understand people that do it because you're the commercial side. Get them in and out. You know, when you're doing it for a business and you got people that, you know, want their dogs trained and you're doing board and trains, or if you're doing, you know, where you meet your people. So I don't like doing board and trains. I try to price people out board and trains. Here's the reason why. Because the way that I train, I bond so close with that dog, the transition back to the people is hard. Because of the bond that I build with that dog in a week is a lot stronger than their bond with the people that own that dog. So the transition back is a little awkward for a while, for a week or so. You know, what I prefer to do is I'll go to the people's house and I'll train them for an hour. I teach them I teach the dog, I teach the husband, the wife, the kids.
Okay.
Who needs to know how that dog works in that household.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So that is more important to me than me taking their dog and telling them, hey, your dog's ready, come pick him up, and giving them a 20-minute take-home lesson or an hour per se. I've heard people say they do an hour and a half take-home. What are you going to teach them in an hour and a half that it took you 30 days to teach them? That ain't going to work. They have problems with that. I had a guy out here, he used to call me when he first got started. How do I fix that? I said, if you're going to do boarding trains, have them do 2 sessions at your place before they pick the dog up, and then the take home. Make it mandatory for them to come to you to do the catch up, and then give them their take home. And now the transition is a lot smoother.
Right.
What's smoother is when I go to their environment, that dog's environment, the dog learns better. He learns easier, less stressful, and everybody there can learn how the dog works and teaching them. So that I've had way more success doing that. And I tell those people when they run into an issue, usually after the 3rd session, I don't handle their dogs anymore because my system is streamlined to where they can handle their dog and they're thinking not as a trainer, but like a trainer. So I'll tell them when the dog isn't sitting or the dog is sitting crooked. I say, okay, what are we doing here? I taught you that last week. So what I'm doing, I'm making them think, because when I'm not there, they got to do it. Don't get frustrated because everything you're going to see, I taught it to you. So now, how do we straighten this out? Okay, Mr. John, I got it. and it's straightened. And those people face, man, they got a smile on their face big as Dallas because they figured it out. I taught it to them. They actually learned how to do that move, how to make the dog do that move. When they run into a problem, I teach them how to get through the problem. You know,
so you're not just a trainer, you're a teacher as well.
I'm a professor.
You're a professor. So would you say you're a better
master, like you said?
Yeah, Shaolin, sure. So if you had to guess, if you was analyzing Mims and you was breaking down his profile, would you say he's a better dog trainer or just a better teacher?
If I had to take the both, I'll give it to you like this.
Yeah.
Equal in both.
Okay.
Here's why. Because I can do both at a high level. Now, but not at a level to go, I don't compete in competition. I'm only competing in two. A K9 Pro Sport event, that was many, many years ago. And then a Kennel Club, they had a little Mickey Mouse thing. I went out there and that was a cakewalk. But I don't do those. I don't do sports because it's too cliquish. I'm not in the cliques. I'm not in the bumping shoulders with people like that to kiss their ass, to win competitions, or none of that stuff. But what I learned when I was taught how to play football, the guy that taught me how to play football when I was 12 to 14, 2 years I played for this guy. He taught football to me so in depth till everything I do, I try to teach it to the best and explain it to the best that I know and give that person everything I can give them about dog training. So when I used to coach football, Little League, I wound up playing for this team that I played for when I was a kid. Went back and played for them. I coached. I went out and helped my buddy, that guy I grew up with, for all together. I coached probably 20-something years.
Wow.
The last 6 years, I lost 7 games. Before that, I took over the older. I used to coach the 11, 12, 13-year-olds. I went 4 years and lost 1 game. But I enjoyed teaching football more than I enjoyed coaching it.
Oh, okay.
Teaching. So when I played football, I was a quarterback in high school. My coach didn't really know how to coach. He'd tell me a play, I go and get the play. I go to the I said, we ain't running that. Let's run this play. Of course, he was fussed, but the results was a touchdown.
Right.
The results was a 20-yard gain as opposed to the play you just gave me going to gain 2 yards. So I was always thinking football. I was always thinking the ins and the outs when that man taught me football.
Right.
When I started getting serious about training dogs, learning dogs, I'm so into it. I don't want to miss nothing. I don't want to mislead my people that I train, people that I talk to. If I don't know something, I say, hey, man, you got a second? Yeah, I'll call somebody and I'll get them on 3-way.
Wow, you're a perfectionist, yeah.
I'll do that because I want them to hear another opinion from another trainer of my caliber.
Okay.
You know, I'm not going to call Joe Blow that's been training dogs 5 years. You know, I'm going to call P. Don Mega. I'm going to call Mark Lima. I'm going to call Mark Allen.
Yeah.
These are guys that have been training dogs 30, 40 plus years.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to let them hear them say it. I'm going to describe everything. They're on the phone. And I'm going to say, what's your opinion on this? You know, and like I said, most of the times we are within the same ballpark with our answers that me and these guys that I talk to. Not because of that alone, but because over the years, those guys have proven what they teach and what they believe in has stood the test of time when it comes to training. You know, and that just is what it is. So I enjoy teaching these people and seeing the smile that I put on their face when they can teach their dog, like the dog busts out the door. You know how long it takes, 3 minutes to teach the dog not to walk out the door? Just close the dog door in his face a couple of times. He's not going to bust out the door. But the average person don't know that. But when you teach it to people and they see it in real time and they see it happen, they can appreciate that. And the smile that comes over their face, man, is you can't buy that smile. You know, it's undeniable. I'll give you a prime example. I went up to Joe's place a little over a year ago
Okay.
to do some training, and we opened it up to the public, but it was on short notice. So
Yeah.
if somebody showed up, that's fine. If they didn't, that's fine. So that means Joe got all the attention with his dogs. So I say, okay, Joe, get the dog. Let's get rolling. So he tells his son, go get them treats. I said, no, come back here, Size. We don't need them treats. And Joe looked at me like, huh? I said, just watch this. And we started training. And Joe's eyes, man, got this big. God. Because now not only did he, I've been telling it to him, but he can see it in real life, real time. Like one clip he put up where I was trying to get the dog to eat I don't know what, a piece of meat or something I was trying to, and his dog turned his head like this, wanted nothing to do with it. We taught that dog that in that session.
Wow.
In that session, and I said, Joe, try when somebody comes over, try to get them to eat, to feed your dogs. And it's still holding true to this day.
Wow.
And to see that smile on Joe's face and him actually see that in real time work, as opposed to me telling to him, meant the world to me as a trainer. Because you can't buy that, man. That's that's undeniable. That people you can show it to them in real time and people actually see that stuff happen. It's one thing to say some stuff online and go out. Like I had a guy question me, so show your work. If I show you my dog Jaguar, my dog is supposed to be sharp, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be on point. When I tell him something, he's supposed to do it right now without hesitation because I'm a trainer. But what looks better to you if I take your dog and I can teach your dog something in 10 minutes? Now, what looks better?
That's more
impressive. I don't know your dog. I done figured his temperament out on the fly. And I done taught him to sit down a lot easier with no stress. And you were having problems with it. But here I come and boom, he's sitting. Without a treat, without a pinch collar, without an e-collar. I just know how to talk to him in his language. And he understands me. It's kind of like Dr. Doolittle. Kind of But I'm not saying I'm at that, but
I just wanted to let you know that we appreciate you. Everybody, like my subscribers and the people that come here, we appreciate you. You know what I mean? I know the games has ups and downs. We appreciate you. You put the sacrifice in, and we get to be treated with all your knowledge. And I appreciate you. I know you. These are two fun questions.
Yes, sir.
Two questions for you. The baddest seafood restaurant in Baton Rouge. That's the first question. Because I've never been in Louisiana. I've never been there. The best seafood restaurant in Baton Rouge. And the final question is, if you could have three wild animals from land, sea, and air, what would those three wild animals be?
I would like to have a pet monkey. That's a land animal.
A monkey, okay.
Little chickapins, I think they call them, or something like that. I'm dying to get me one of those.
Okay.
I've had parrots, and I've had fish. So that's kind of unfair question because I've had them all. But
I'm talking about a wild animal. I'm talking about a wild, like a.
In the sea, I would like to have a orca.
Okay.
If I could big enough.
Well, yeah.
They real bold and real expressive.
Yes, bro.
For what they know, and there ain't no hesitation,
Yeah.
And in the air, a harpy eagle. Dominant, don't care about much else, control the skies, and they can see things far off. Like I can see a lot of fake trainers far off because I got that eagle eye. Put that eagle eye on them, man. And I can see a lot of fake stuff from a mile away, And on land,
on land, yeah.
I would guess maybe like an elephant because you figure the size, the dominance.
Yeah.
Nothing really mess with them. They have no natural predator.
Nobody's going to attack you. The elephants don't play around. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so with that, um, with training, I don't have a problem when people question some of the things I say. If I did, I wouldn't post stuff. You know, I'm not that soft skinned where I don't have an issue. Just and I made a post about this today or yesterday. If you're going to say things about other trainers, other people, what you see on the internet, and I'm just throwing this out to the crowd, to the people that's listening. Know what you're talking about first. Have an idea of the game that's being played. Don't let these people or let me go on your page and you don't have any video of dogs or they 3 or 4 years old. The video, I had one guy commented a couple of days ago. I went on his page. Last time he posted something was in 2022. You know, you know, I've had to throttle back myself on commenting a lot online because I don't know where people are at in their training journey. I don't know where the dog is. I don't know the temperament of the dog. I can tell a little bit by looking at it, but most of the times I'll try to contact the people. Hey, man, my name's Mims. I'm in Louisiana. I train. I got a question. What you trying to do with the dog at this point? Where you at? How long you been fooling with him? How long you been training that dog? You know, I want to get a better idea. And I may tell them, I say, hey, man, you ever tried this? No, I never tried that. Say, hey, man, try that. Just let me know how that works for you. And they'll call back a week or two, some of them. They say, man, that shit worked. Then they asking for some more free stuff, you know, but I cut them off. Gotta go.
You gotta pay. He deserving money. We're waiting on his book. We gotta come up with a documentary or whatever. We gotta do the workshop, documentary, book, and you gonna tell us the best seafood and or other restaurant in Baton Rouge before we get out here.
The best seafood place out here, there's a couple of them, and I'm a food connoisseur because I've gained probably 100 pounds in the last 20 years from eating so much. Man, that's a joy of life, especially out here in Louisiana.
Does Louisiana really have?
Say that.
Is it true that Louisiana really has some of the best food in the country?
In the world.
In the world.
And the reason why you got different areas of Louisiana have a palate, your palate is different. So where I live, we have a lot of seafood, a lot of barbecue places. You go down an hour down the road to Lafayette, Louisiana. They cook a little different because they're more Cajun.
Okay.
You go up north, the food tends to get a little more bland. It's more South Louisiana where you get a lot more of the tasty food.
Okay.
That really spoils you, you know. So the restaurant wise, there's was that Juicy? What's that one we go to do? I think it's a national chain now or a regional chain.
I haven't heard.
Fiery Crab is the name of it.
Oh, I never heard that. Okay.
It's called Fiery Crab. So they must be regional.
Yeah.
They have a pretty good thing, but what's really good is some of these mom and pop places that's not real big. You know, the seafood there, man, makes you, man, you want to fight somebody, man. I tell my wife, you got your plate, you stay over there on your side of the room. I'm going to stay over here on my side. Don't come over here pecking off my plate. Boy, you creating a fight, you know? So what was the other one? The seafood, and what was the other place?
Just regular restaurant. I think you answered it. The best seafood or the best restaurant, period.
Yeah. There's a real place, a barbecue place called Pouillons.
Pouillon, okay.
And man, they got a baked potato there, a loaded baked potato, man, make you hurt somebody, dude. Just make me want to go get one now. They about Sunday, they close at 9 on Sunday. But it's a lot of places, but some of the best places aren't chain places. They're smaller places, you know. You go sit down and eat there, and there may be 4 tables there or something, you know.
Those be the best. Usually the best.
Those are the best places. Yeah. There's a seafood house around 2 streets over from me. It's the largest seafood place in the state. Plate lunches there, and you know you can go in there. There's a pool where you can pick the catfish out. They'll dump them out on the floor. You say, I want that one. And they'll dress right there while you're waiting. Stuff like that. They have fresh shrimp, fresh oysters, all kinds of seafood, crabs, and all that stuff. So I had a dog shipped from here up to Ohio, and the guy that shipped it came out of L.A.
Mm.
It was crawfish season.
Mm.
I'll take y'all around there and buy y'all lunch. And we went around there, and man, they sat in the parking lot for about 2 hours. Man, they didn't want to leave. They didn't want to leave, man. They were stuck on that food. It was like, God damn, man, we had some farther up north, but it don't taste like this, you know. So South Louisiana has a whole different.
Shout out to you being a gentleman. He said he inboxed a Dutch Shepherd breeder that everybody know, and he made me feel terrible. But I inboxed. He said he inboxed you and sent me his number and called me and talked for hours and talk every day. Yeah. So shout out to you for being a gentleman. That's what the game is missing, bro.
Yeah.
Honest, honorable people that stand by their word, that's cool, that's down to earth. Those people like that, like you, would never be played out. No matter what the internet does, people like you would never be played out. We always need people like you.
About trainers and other breeders, like I because I'm outspoken and I don't mind talking to people and I post a lot of stuff. I get people call and they may be in different parts of the country.
Yeah.
And because I've made connections with people and talked to people all over, I said, well, where you at? I said, well, you're closer to this guy. And I'll call that guy to try to get them, say, hey, man, can you talk to this guy, see if you can help him out? And they don't answer the phone. They don't call back, or they call back a week later, or whatever. Now, I'm not saying people aren't busy, because I certainly understand that. But, man, if my phone rings, I assume it's business. I'll answer the phone. Me and my wife be out eating sometimes, and I'll have to put my phone in my pocket, because if it rings and I see it ring, I'm going to answer it, because I just assume it's business. You know, I think the guy that just posted that, I met him 2-3 days ago, and we talked every day since for like hour, 2 hours at a time. Matter of fact, he's starting a transportation business, dog transportation business. So he's out in Dallas, Texas. So once he gets up and running, I'm gonna share that information. Maybe people can network, they can holler at him, see what his rates are. You know,
I promote the business. This is what my channel is all about: promoting people and seeing people reach their highest level. That's what I'm about on this channel. So reach out to any business. Make sure y'all holler at me.
That's right, and get out there, man, and help this guy get going. And I talked to him. I didn't ask him for anything. I was giving him some information, and he called me up. He says, "Hey, man, what's your Cash App? I'm gonna send you something, man, because you know what you gave me is worth more than I can send you, but I'm gonna send it to you." You know, and he sent me something, and I appreciate it. And then his friendship now means a lot to me, because we talked. I talked to his wife about some stuff, some issues they were having with a couple of dogs that they got, and he never have to send me anything else. Our friendship now means a lot. He has a business that he's getting started. Him getting that business up and running, me referring people to him, means a lot. Networking, you know, means a lot to me. Helping people out that think alike, that's not gonna, you know, try to ramrod people or take advantage of people. The guy's an older gentleman. He just retired, got everything together. His van, I saw a wrap. He sent me a wrap of his van. That van alone is going to get him some business, the wrap on it, you know. Real good guy. I'm going to put my wife in touch with his wife. She does some things, some businesses that I think my wife might be interested in doing. And stuff like that, man. All that means a lot, you know, to that. Me, and when I first met Joe might have thought I was crazy, because we were talking 3-4 times a day, sometimes 2-3 times a day, every day.
Yeah.
You know? But when it comes to dogs and learning and helping people out, and I'll tell people, if you don't buy a pup from me, or if you don't sign up for me to walk you through some things with your dog, me giving you the information and helping people make a good, sound decision means a lot to me. Means sometimes me putting the money, you know,
what you was put on earth to do. It's obvious.
So, and then what they can say is, I didn't get one of Mims' dogs, or I didn't let him train, but he pointed me in the right direction, and I got what I need. That means a lot, you know. And on the short end of it, I cheat myself sometimes because I give away too much. But at the end of the day, I'm sorry, go ahead.
you know, hate cheating. So you hear that? You ever hear the term? Some people so broke all they got is money. You the opposite. You the opposite. So a person can have a lot of money but still be broke.
Yeah. So I prefer helping people like that and meeting people and pushing for what we. If I can get them to a better spot with their dog or make a better decision on a dog, that guy's wife that posted that they have pressers now in Corso, and one of the pressers I think is giving them some issues, and we talked about that, and they asked me about some other dogs, other breeds, and I gave them my opinion, and I think they may go in a different direction, but that comes from the trust we built with the guy. I've talked to him, like I said, it's been I think 3 days, and just from our conversation, man, the guy I like talking to the guy. I think he's going to do good in his business. Me helping him make a wise decision. I gave him some information on how to get off and running with the shipping business. Some of the people that he can touch, what do you call it? Tap in with some of the bully breeders, and maybe he might be exclusive to those dogs because some of those dogs require a little bit extra handling and care when they're moving them. You know.
So John, we definitely gonna have a part 2 because, like I said, listening to interviews is like watching a movie. You know what I'm saying? It's like watching a movie. So give us some final thoughts. Give out your information, how everybody can reach you, your phone number, whatever it is, and give us some thoughts.
I'm a phone guy, so I'll give out my phone number. My name is John Mims, MIMS. My phone number is 225-200-9162. I'm in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. If you call me, 99% of the time I answer the phone. And I'm a trainer, handler, breeder, networker, all that stuff rolled into one.
You got Malinois Shepherds.
I got Malinois and Dutch Shepherds. If I don't have a pup when you call, it's only a handful of people that I trust and believe in that breed for the same quality and temperament. And if I send you to them people, that it's just like you're dealing with me. I get nothing out of that. I like connecting people to make a good deal, and I know they're going to take care of you. I learned the hard way with that, referring people to somebody, and if the deal didn't go bad, I feel bad because I put them in touch with them, and something didn't go right. So I'm very, very skeptical on who I deal with that sort of thing. You know, if you have questions about training, something I said, or you want some insight on it, give me a call. We'll talk about it. Maybe I can help you out. Maybe I can't help you out. If I can't, I can get somebody on the line that may know a little bit about that particular subject than I do. And I can put you in touch with them. I can get them on the phone with us, and we can talk it out and make sure you're headed in the right direction. So hopefully, with this conversation we had, and I do appreciate you calling me and getting me on and having this talk, and I'll call you here in a little bit to give you those tips I was going to tell you about. I enjoyed it. It's been 2 hours and 30 minutes. We could probably
no. He said, "Do you breed KMVP Malinois?"
I have some that are KMPV dogs. Once again, that may go back to this. Those KMPV dogs are strong dogs, but I've had dogs that were bred by lesser quality dogs, and you put the training in, you couldn't tell the difference between that dog and that KMPV dog.
Performance.
Yeah. So, you know, if somebody has questions or some of that stuff, man, call me. I like talking to people, texting and messaging and stuff like that. I can't judge your sincerity in your voice or the conversation without talking to you. Texting, you can get some ideas misconstrued, and not taken the right way or something. But if you call me, I can tell in your voice if you're serious about it. And if I feel like you're wasting time with that, I don't, we cut the conversation short, So calling and talking is what I prefer to do. I got a page on YouTube. It's on the Top Dog K9. On TikTok, it's K9 Mims.
Okay. Let me write it down. Okay. TikTok. K9 Mims?
Yeah.
K9 Mims.
On TikTok, yeah. And on
YouTube?
On YouTube, it's on the Top Dog Canine. I had that many years ago. So I got videos on there. Go back 20 years on YouTube.
The proof is in the pudding. Out to Canada.
You can't. You know what I told the guy one day. I said you can't be in this business or any business for that matter. For as long as some of us guys that have been doing and still in it, and without doing right with our people. Yeah. You know, it's a lot of people that have came in this business with all these super ideas. They thrown a lot of money at it and they flashed and they fade out real fast. You know, I just run my race and my steady race. Sometimes I put my head down and keep going. Sometimes I pop up and say stuff. Then I put it back down. I just go ahead and get it.
I appreciate you. We like people that speak the truth, even if it hurt, because that's more beneficial than somebody lying and talking about science-y and like, man, tell the truth and get it where it's going. That's what we like here.
It's a lot of good trainers. It's a lot of good breeders, but that don't mean they all stand for the right thing. You know, because they breed a certain dog that may not fit what some people are looking for. Like I've had people call and they inquire on dogs and I say, well, maybe that dog may not work for you because what you're telling me, your lifestyle, that may not work out. And for the most part, just say they're like an ideal
people like that.
Lady that real active. She works, she comes home, she jogs every day. You know, she lives a active lifestyle. Some of the Corsos may not work out for her, or a certain line of Corso may not work out for her because they're not that. They're just not moving like that. Right. She may be a Doberman or a Shepherd. I won't say a Mal or a Dutch because she's not that active.
Yeah,
but enough for a Shepherd or a Dobie, something like that. You know, a Boxer or something like that. So helping match people sometimes with the right dog means a lot. Everybody's a little different in what they breed. 4 people can breed Corsos and they're all breeding for different purposes or different traits. You know, same thing with different dogs, with Rotties. Everybody breeds a little differently. You know, I've seen some of this, and that makes me think about this. I've seen some of those Timatour dogs, the Rotties, and they face is so smushed in, their teeth crowded up, they have problems breathing, and they don't do nothing. Nothing. They don't. Some of them, the ones I saw, don't have no ball drive. Well, no, I take it back. They have ball drive, but they have no man drive. They could care less about defending their property. Come to find out, most of those Timatour dogs, with the ones that I saw, they hold a ball up when they take those pictures over there in Germany or wherever they get them from, Serbia. Most of them are, I think they're Serbian dogs. They hold the ball up out of the camera view and they take a perfect picture of a Rottweiler. He stands there nice and pretty, looks good, but he has no concerns about defending his home or defending its owner.
That's crazy.
You take a tennis ball or a little ball and roll it across. You can take him and walk him down the street. And you call the guy and say, I got your dog and I'm going down the street with him. You know, that ain't what the Rottweiler was bred for. But, you know, I'll tell somebody that ain't the dog you want if you want a dog to defend you, you know, or just guard your property. That ain't one for you, you know. But everybody breeds differently. Everybody breeds for different reasons. A lot of times, is it wrong or right? In this world, in this day and time, you can't tell nobody what's wrong or right as far as they're concerned. You know, I like Malinois that are. When I was younger, I liked those 100-mile-an-hour dogs.
Yeah,
I've gotten a little older. My back isn't what it used to be, so now I want to. I train the dogs to be a
shepherd. You want a Mal that German Shepherd?
Kind of, sorta. When it's time to go,
yeah,
it's up.
Yeah.
You know? And when it's off, it's off. Those light switch dogs, you know. That's what I like, you know. And I've always liked that. I like those high-powered males because the people back then that I was targeting, selling dogs to, that's what they wanted. And then some of them, that's what they wanted, so they thought, until they got it.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is I've had other trainers, and I'm talking as little as 15 years ago, 18 years ago. They called, hey man, look, this is what I want. It's got to be this. It got to be pissing fire and throwing up vinegar or however that saying is. And
yeah.
And I sent them that puppy, and 3 months later they called me, hey man, what's up? I said, what's up? Man, you want this puppy back? I said, what you mean? It ain't work out? No, man, it's too much dog. Man, I didn't want you called and asked me you wanted pissing vinegar and throwing up whatever I'm saying, and I sent it to you. And now you're saying it's too much at 5 months old. It's too much puppy for you. Come on, you know. But that's the way where we've gotten now. I used to love those dogs, and I used to breed those extreme dogs like that. But then everything shifted. A lot of it shifted. So if you breed that extreme now, you're boxing yourself in on who you can sell those dogs to.
That's a good point. I'm glad you said that. Glad you said that.
Because you hear a lot of people with Malinois and Dutch Shepherds. Oh, I sell police dogs. No, you don't. What you sell is you sold a dog to a police officer. Then you sold a police dog. No, you sold to a police officer.
Wow.
There's a difference. There's a big difference. It's all kind of tricks of the trade, the way they word stuff, the way they say stuff, man. It's this dog world, man. I could sit here another 2 hours and just tell you some of the scams that go on.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a part two. We're gonna have to do a part two because it's certain questions I didn't even get a chance to ask you about, like Dutch Shepherd. You don't got to answer now, but like, what's the main difference between Dutch Shepherds and Malinois? I just got way more questions, bro. But we're gonna do that on a part two. Give us your final thoughts. Anything else you want to say before you get out of here?
There's a song that Ziggy Marley made called "Choose Well." So when you're picking out a dog, choose well. Do your homework on that breeder, what he produces. See if you can find people that has dogs that they've gotten from him and how those dogs turned out. When you're looking for a trainer, choose well. Talk to people. Talk to the trainer 2 or 3 times. If he's tired of talking to you after the second time and you're making a decision where you're spending your hard-earned money with that guy and he gets tired of talking to you, if it's 2 20-minute conversations and he doesn't want to talk to you, the third one may be the time you're ready to spend your money. And he has a problem with that, then that may not be the guy for you. Choose well. Talk to these people. Go out and see if you can spend a couple of hours with them or an hour with them and see if they fit your liking, if you fit their liking. That's the thing I have for a lot of people. That's some of the best advice I can give people. Investigate this stuff. Investigate these people. Make sure they fit, because you go and spend money with them and buy a dog from them, and then 6 months down the road, they won't answer the phone for you no more. You got shortchanged somewhere down the line. So choose well when you're in this dog world, and do your homework on these people. So that would be my parting words, when it comes to that.
We gotta get that book, man. It's time for you to manifest that book for us.
I'm gonna put
somebody in there. You might sell 100,000 books, $10, make $1 million. Just like that.
Yeah. I'm gonna push for it. It's in the making. I can tell you, it's in the making. Yeah.
It's not just about the money, because you're giving the knowledge, which is worth more than the money, but you deserve the money at the same time. So it's a win-win for you, win-win for us.
Yeah, certainly. Yep, it's in the making. So hopefully I can get it finished up. We're looking by the end of the year. I'm looking to have it done.
Yeah.
A buddy of mine that I played ball with, and we didn't realize this when we were in high school together, but we're cousins. And he wrote 2 books in a year. Mm-hmm. And he was, what you waiting on? Let's go. Let's get it. I'll help you get it published and all that stuff and everything. Yeah, I'm gonna work on it. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll have this thing done.
And get an audio book too. You can do both, or just do an audio book. That might be faster.
That's in the making too.
Yeah. I appreciate you, man. We definitely gonna do a part 2, man. I appreciate you. We need more guys like you to tell us the truth, even if it hurt our feelings. They'll keep telling the truth, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you, man. Take it easy. Thanks a lot.
Take it easy. Yeah.
All right. Bye-bye.
So, guys, y'all see that right there, man? The Shaolin master K9 trainer, John Mims representing Louisiana. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna go live. I'm gonna try to go live. I'm going live on Thursday. And I'm gonna go live either tomorrow or Tuesday. You know, I'm giving y'all 3 lives a week now. 3 lives a week. And you never know, I might get to 4 or 5, you know what I'm saying? And then I got some more ideas. I'm just manifesting it. It takes time. Like Joe said, his best advice, and I appreciate him, is to be consistent. You know what I mean? And that's a great advice. And shout out to Joe, and hopefully Joe, I look forward to him going in person, doing his thing, because that's what the game needs. Being right on the front line, he got his crew, so I'm hoping he reach higher than his goals are. You know what I'm saying? That's the wave right now. And like I said, the wave right now, guys, on this channel is helping people without expecting nothing in return. And always remember that some people are so broke, all they got is money. Some people is so broke, all they got is money. But I appreciate y'all, and I'll see you on the next live. Peace.